I recommend not unmuting yourself. It is indeed a good idea.
Signore, signori, esseri umani. That's the wrong podcast intro again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 10th point, season 8, week 7. I am the Red Mage. Joining me on the line this week and every week, it's Zanti.
Hello, and not
Gauze
every
Mid.
week, but every week now.
Well, you had to take a
I'll do
week
that.
off. It's fine. How goes?
Working on my bachelor's degree, so that's a thing that's happening, and I really got into work on that. And I've been looking into some different things, including the new. I was going to call it new. I've heard about it. It's been out for a while. New TCG Flesh and Blood. I've been looking into that. All sorts of small things I've been looking into recently. Just curiosity being unbounded. Ideas unbound. You know. But not much on the large scale, especially not on MTG side. I've been a bit low this week. But I'm happy to see some magic today. It's gonna be fun.
We have 11 players today, raring to start their first round, so we're pretty excited to bring you some powerful magic to you as quickly as we humanly can. Just a couple of notes before we start. I'm gonna leave the mic to Gosmith as he goes to the beginning of tournament announcements, and after that we will get going.
Absolutely. If you are unfamiliar with us, we are the 10 point. We do weekly Canadian Highlander tournaments. Canadian Highlander is a 100 card singleton community format. We play without a band list and instead have a points list. So that means you can have 10 points worth of total points. Blacklight, for example, is 7. Demonic Tutor is 4, so that would be 11 points to play both of those in total. So you can't. This is a way to just keep the most powerful combinations and keeping this from just being below the vintage power level by a tad. Still, this is a powerful format with some powerful magic. And if you're interested about Canadian Highlander, we have a Discord for that, with which we should have linked in the chat and in the not Discord. We have a Discord link. The Discord that is a great place I would link.
Exclamation point Discord, and you get
and in the chat as well. Yeah. If you're interested in not just our Discord and Canadian Highlander, but if you're interested in us, we have our website where you can learn more about us, who we are, and what we do. If you're interested in playing in one of these tournaments, if you're like, this might be fun to try out, then we have our next event linked as well, our MTG Melee page where you can find the sign up for that. And if you really think these guys are doing a great job, this is actually really awesome, I want to help them out, then Prime and Twitch, and not in that order, is what you want to be looking at. Twitch Prime. A subscription is a great way to help us out. It helps us with prices. It helps us with just improving the stream in general. And a Twitch Prime is a great form of subscription. A Twitch Prime gaming subscription, I think we should probably have changed that at some point too. But if you want to help us out, a subscription, Twitch Prime, lovely way to do that. And of course, just you being here and watching is a great joy. I think that's about all of our usual shenanigans. So let's get to some other types of content. Let's try and see if we have some pairings for the first round, so we can get us our good old them started for the first of 4 rounds.
You say that as though the shenanigans ever end with us, but
true. Just cast shenanigans, dredge it back. It'll never leave.
The pairings should be up.
Oh, I'm going to be biased here and request that we watch Loading, Hubris Loading versus Luca.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
I'm down.
There was only a lot of pairing I was going to suggest otherwise. But that sounds like definitely a fine suggestion. So I'm down for that. Because they're definitely one of the people we haven't had around in a while. They were around here last week, So that was definitely lovely to have them back after loading for reference here. Luca has been playing in most every week this tournament season. But loading has been a regular Canadian Highlander player for a while. They were gone for a good bit and have now returned. It's lovely to have them back here. It's always a fun time. And before we had the 10th point Gosmedy mode, there was a bit of a lore moment for everyone here. We were playing some Jackbox in the Canadian Highlander which we call it like Discord. We're just playing some TKO where you make t-shirts. And let's just say someone made a t-shirt with Gosmid on it as the only text and just like a smiley, just off put. And then someone bought it and that person was loading. So apparently loading is my number one fan is all I'm saying here. Look, it's canon. So how can I not feature him? And yeah, Luca, definitely a pro of the format. This season, been on a binge with their version of a Jund aggro deck, which is going, red aggro's good. What if we added a color? Rakdos aggro is also pretty solid. What if we went even further and added a third color?
He was saying that this was born as an experiment for him to just basically start with a deck that played Jund and played literally every spell that got every one drop that was good that existed, and and then it just evolved from there.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to the day that someone goes, "Oh, let's play 4-color aggro." I guess that's a lot. Something.
I do want to mention to the Marco that the link for the next event does not work.
Ah. That is
I didn't publish the tournament, did I? I'll do that momentarily as soon as we get to
error 500. Organizer has not published this tournament yet.
So. Yeah, I know what's going on. I'll fix that after we get this game on the road.
I'm trying to remember what loading was on last we saw them, which I believe was last week. If I remember correctly, they were on Green Black The Rock.
Oh, they're not this week. They're back on Tiny Fingers. They're back on Tiny Fingers skateboards.
I believe that is their weird hybrid of a mono black suicide aggro deck and mono black control.
Are we gonna see some rotting Regisaurs?
Sure is. Yes, that is very likely.
There's gonna be rotting Regisaurs?
I have a pretty reasonable feeling that we might also be seeing rotting Regisaur possibly from Luke as well, being on amongst other things, black aggro deck, and rotting Regisaur being on.
If there turns out to be 12 rotting Regisaurs between the two decks, I'm not gonna be complaining.
No. Santi likes his boys speak for a low price. You just look at it like a lightning element and just go, oh, so many attack, so much damage, so little mana. We're gonna start off the game here with a Thoughtseize from Luca, peeking into a hand.
Particularly like loading his hand significantly.
You know, Nerf is usually better once you have a creature in hand or rather than graveyard.
Like the Unearth is fine, but it's really bad when you don't have a creature. This Inquisition's okay. You have, I guess, 2 removal spells, but like it. I don't know. I want a creature in your hand.
This looks almost more like a Pox hand than a mono black aggro kind of hand. Choosing to take the removal spell here, intending presumably, and we draw the creature. Now we have a 2-drop threat. That's pretty good top deck.
And we get to take the Stormfish Crusader here, which is pretty nice as well.
Interestingly, you can also take the Madness card here and actually just allow that to not get discarded later on to say this Overload spell. That is also an option. This is actually.
They do take the Madness card, the Angrath Ravager.
Yeah, I actually think that's the noticeably more scary card. Like, yeah, sure, you're still coming in a 2-drop, but next turn they can play the Ravager because they did play a Mox Emerald on turn 1, giving them access to a whopping 3 mana on turn 2.
Probably gonna see the Crusader come down here.
Definitely an
The good
interesting
old-
card because like it is a 2-mana 2/2 menace, and then it has the symmetric effect of at the beginning of your upkeep, both players draw a card and both players lose a life. Losing a life
It's
each is something you're usually pretty happy with in an aggro deck, but your opponent drawing cards and yourself drawing cards, that's interesting.
The
it's a
bat.
card that
Sorry, it was in the bat is that you will be able to use those cards more effectively and faster than your opponent can use them because your deck's cheaper. That's basically handled this card's doing.
the other thing about it is you get the cards first, right? Like you always get them on your turn, and so you see your card before your opponent does.
Yeah. Compared to some similar effects like Howling Mind, which work at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they draw one more card. I believe they draw one more in the draw step. I can't remember particularly. Well, that's interesting. Choosing to not go with double 2-drop, but choosing instead
Well,
to go.
you couldn't cast both 2-drops. You only have 2 black sources. Actually, no, you have 3 with the
Correct.
Graven
There's
Carrots.
three mechanics.
You're correct. Ooh, Drana.
However, there
So
was
we see loading
like-
hubris loading, keeping his hubris land of no creatures and just drawing straight gas this game.
yeah, drawing a. I don't remember was the Wolver Stronghold was drawn off the top as well, correct? So they draw a land and then just a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop. That's actually quite a good curve out there from them. Now it is held by the fact that they are drawing additional cards off the Surface Crusader as well, making it a lot easier to find lands and creatures. It shall be noted.
There looks like they're gonna play Judith here.
Yeah.
And then
What I'm saying, this is where you can get punished. Now you can just like scale up your menace boy here and get in for a ton.
you don't scale. I think you scale up your 2/1 and then you attack.
I was gonna say that is the other option. I think
Because
that
they
is-
can't block anything here.
Exactly. It's a flyer. It's
Except they have to block here.
Yeah, how much damage
This is just lethal.
13, 14, 15. This is one of lethal.
This is lethal because of your putrid.
No, I believe that only brings us up to 15.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
However, that does now mean that Judith dying, that can't happen.
Anything dying.
She will ping you. I don't see how you win this at this moment.
This is just
feels like this is a concession. Kill this creature, that doesn't kill me. This is a magical drain life.
well. We see Judith in the scale up being quite good over from Luca. The saddest part about this game, of course, is that no rotting Vegas was fast.
Yeah. The pinging from Judith is a really big deal. Like usually it's just nice to have the additional damage going phase once they deal with your creature. But once you're playing against another deck that will have X1s and X2s, suddenly a pinger 2 will just give you just another trade up. The same with the additional power. It'll just allow you to keep getting these slightly better trades overall, which is really impressive.
Just wanted to make a point that the next event link should be working now.
Lovely stuff.
I do love Loading's hand here.
Yeah, and I do like the Duke at Mulliganing. That was a hand that had no black spells and a bunch of black spells I wanted to cast. This being a noticeably better keep.
Yeah, this hand seems fine to me.
Yeah.
Probably putting back.
Can we talk about something in Loading's hand?
What do you want to talk about?
I think you know what card I want to talk about. It's Blood Chief Ascension. What do you think of that?
I don't think this card's particularly good, if that's what you're asking. But I was kind of just looking at Loading's hand, just assuming it was a 6 and this card didn't exist, and being like, this hand's a fine hand.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting card. Like the problem with it is that it is a weird card for multiple reasons. Firstly, the way you trigger it is by making your opponent lose 2 more life each turn, and then you need to have it to, I believe, 3 counters? Yeah, 3 plus counters. So that's 3 turns of hitting your opponent for 2 or more. If you're doing that, chances are reasonable that your opponent's in a position where, like, this just needs to finish the game. If it has 3 or more counters, I want it to, like, be finishing the game in my aggro deck. I worked a good bit for this. It's just a 1-mana card, don't get me wrong. I wanted to deal some damage. Okay, so what does it do? Well, whenever a card is put into my opponent's graveyard from literally anywhere, they lose 2 life and I gain 2 life. So this means suddenly your opponent can't trade. If they get anything killed, that's strength 2. This
To be
suddenly makes
fair,
trading scary.
the effect of gaining a bunch of life against Aggro while pressuring them is pretty interesting.
The problem with this card though is that it takes too long to get on. Like assuming that you get it on turn 2, and then you get it down and put a counter on it turn 2, and then turn 3 and turn 4, you get good attacks. All of those turns, you have to get some good attacks at some point to get in damage. Then it's active on their turn, your opponent's turn 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think in reality, the matchup where you want a card like Bloodchief Ascension is more in the case of like, say you're up against blue-white control. I think it's really good there because you can usually get in a couple damage at a time in the early game, and landing this early just means they're casting a counter spell, they're taking 2. They're casting a counter spell, they're taking 2. They're casting Condemn, they're taking 2. Like, that is where I think you want to play this against a kind of slow deck. That is why you're playing this, but it does have leeway if you
I don't
get
think
to
this
a
card
big
is good against control though, because you're not necessarily getting in for 2 at
By
the
the
like in the perfect case scenario, it's okay.
Yeah, it feels like it's because it's so slow. By the time that they that you have set up and this card is active and it's finally gotten you there, at that point, well, they probably have found a way to answer it. Also, like control will be able to kill an enchantment eventually. It's not like
I'm going to be honest with you here. I mean, I completely agree. I'm merely here trying to play the devil's advocate.
that's fair.
Like,
that is fair.
now, an interesting decision here is this is Wrangle Prangle, Master of the. I don't have a joke here. You have a couple options. You can make each player draw a card and lose life. You can make each player discard a card, and you can make each player.
What's the last card in Loading's hand again? It's
I think it's a Shadow Spear.
Shadow Spear. I would not discard a card.
No, if you discard a card, yeah, you can't draw first, notably due to the ordering of them. So you're not discarding. I do like sacrificing here.
Yeah, sacrificing is perfectly fine. I would have probably drawn, to be perfectly honest, to try and find my land drop. Because I want to find a land drop to bring back Bloodghast so I can sack it again.
Yeah, and we're probably just going to see, yeah, we're going for the fight instead of just the straight up killing here. So we're choosing that we would rather have our opponent die here than just having
this is
a free around turn.
Loring getting really punished for that, for his decision, because now he doesn't have a creature to put his Shadow Spear on, and he is still one shot from triggering the Bloodchief's Ascension.
Notably, though, this Bloodghast does not have haste yet, so it does not get it.
It has haste when your opponent has 10 or less health, or life, as we also call it magic at times. And no, it seems Luca in fact has 11 of those.
Now, is Luca gonna either block with this Firebrand Artisan or use this Heartless Act to kill this Bloodghast? Because that's gotta feel like
here's my
garbage.
take. I think, yeah, you 100% play this Fireblade Artist. I think you swing in for 4 because your opponent can't block. And then just on your opponent's turn, you just go, yeah, before you deal any damage, no. Particularly because that's a way to play around, like your opponent just having a land sometimes. This is a scenario.
Why does Loading have a singular snow-covered forest?
Who knows? And it's not a forest; it's a swamp.
Sorry, swamp.
I believe the lands behind them are also snow-covered. They're just a different snow-covered.
No. These are they? They don't.
They are snow-covered.
They are snow-covered. Yeah, okay.
Is the card I can think of off the top of my head. There are other cards in black that notably care about snow. I just don't think any of them are relevant in this type of deck. There's the Snow Sweeper, the first of the two we've gotten.
That's unfortunate. Luca, the problem with Luca right now is he can't really afford to race because this Shadow Sphere is gaining life each turn.
Yeah, and then suddenly once Bloodchief is online as well, it's just gonna be even worse.
You can't really afford to race. I would attack in with one creature, leave the other creature back.
Enemy the calculator, because that creature isn't blocking either way. And I think, yeah, I agreed. So the problem is that.
But then you just get Dread Wanderer back, and it's like
exactly.
It's not looking good for Luca.
No, it is not.
You have
I think a removal spell here would have been like really, really big. I would give them the time they needed, possibly. Alas, that was just a Stonecover Forest, not even a creature. Yeah, so we get in here, lifelink, get back to Blockcast here, makes a lot of sense, presumably just because we might as well equip the Blockcast, I think.
There's no reason to equip Blockcast.
It
I
can
would not be
block.
equipping Blockcast.
I mean, in the weird scenario that Luca casts a card that somehow removes the ability of Blockcast to block, not block.
So you're more likely to have your Dread Wanderer get removed, or you have your Bloodghast get removed for something, and then have to spend mana to like move it over Dread Wanderer, the thing back to Dread Wanderer. That I think it's incorrect to move over to
Why by
Bloodghast.
Artisan suddenly just doesn't have an effect now? Because you do not want to sacrifice something
It
when
has
active, essentially.
an effect. You can make loading gain to life. You can lose. You can lose to life.
Yeah, the worst part is that even if you sacrifice it, you don't get to deal the damage and then they gain life afterwards. No, they gain life before your trigger.
Yeah, but you lose to life, so that's cool.
Now the real line here is to wasteland your own land to deal yourself 4. Just saying. Pretty good.
Notably, Dread Wanderer can in fact block.
Yeah. And then we equip, I think, yeah, interesting, we choose to equip the Putrid Imp.
I think that's fine. You get 2/2/2 blockers that can block their things reasonably well.
That doesn't mean we can block both Fireblade and
Team of Battle Rage.
Team of Battle Rage, that's definitely a option for.
It's a card that's a lot worse when your opponent knows about it, though. And when you don't have a creature with 4 power.
Well, we just gotta draw like the right card here, and then we win. And no, it's not Mark's Rupee. No, I don't think that card does it. So that brings us to game 3. That is a 1-1, by the way, Red Mage.
I was already correcting it when you were telling me to correct it. Words exist.
Well, you forgot it the first time around. I couldn't be sure.
Shoutouts to Magic Online, who this time didn't completely change all the proportion that I like my windows to behave like a maniac, like it did last time.
Lovely.
I
would really love like a. Can we please get something as simple as the ability to view hands when spectating a game on Magic Online? Like, how difficult can that be?
Well, I think the problem isn't that it's hard to implement, but it's hard to implement fairly. Like,
well, you
if
give
you can view
players
hands, you can also like type in chat, right? Like you can.
True. The simple trick to doing that is you remove the. You just if it's a casual game, and specifically this is only meant for casual games naturally. You just have to add the permission for like you have to give the permission for it, and that's it.
You have to you do it like the way X Mage does, where you ask the players for permission and they can say yes.
Oh, this guy wants to share hands.
Both players have to say yes, or just one?
Well, each player has to say yes for their own hand.
Consent is important, people. I'm just saying. Yeah, we see Death Rush Shaman here. I imagine we. So I'm curious here. Would you rather have the Goblin Guide and the Hexdringer down here and just get on the board immediately? Never mind, we draw Mox. If we hadn't followed land.
I would like to be playing this Dark Confidant this turn to find me my lands next turn.
Yeah. It's awkward because the creatures with one toughness are the one that this Funeral Charm can kill. So
I would be playing Guide here. We're gonna see Hexdringer get cast here, but I would be playing Guide here.
I am actually a big fan of the Hexdringer here. In general, I like playing my non-haste threats prior, personally.
I think that your Hexdringer has a lot more chance of I feel like losing one of these creatures, it's better to lose the Goblin Guide, but it is the worst creature on your board, so I guess it's the least likely to get removed.
I'm actually surprised they didn't kill the Dark Confidant here.
Well, they're gonna
Like,
deluge at some point.
Oh, absolutely, but I'd rather kill the Hexbringer with a Deluge at some point. Like, I'm probably taking 2 damage either way to get rid of this.
If you wait a turn on Hexdrinker, then it gets protection from instance.
Well,
and once again, this
don't
is
care.
weird.
But it becomes a 4/4, so you have to pay a bunch more life to deluge. So that can matter.
It's one of those weird illusions I believe I was mentioning earlier, of playing sort of an Aggro deck, sort of a control deck, choosing to play Toxic Deluge in a deck that's playing
It'd be really good here.
as well.
Volcardo Dismember. Oh, Dismember. Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen a Dismember cast.
See, this Deluge is gonna kill 3 things here. This is so good.
Right Elf hitting a solid old Dismember, getting rid of a Eyesight Golem, and just swinging it in for 5. And then we see the Deluge for 2, I presume? Yep, makes sense.
And now, notably, this Goblin Guide, uncastable.
Yeah.
There's another reason why I like getting Goblin Guide out the turn before, because I don't have red mana.
Correct. It is, however, very I think this vampire will be more than happy to suck a little bit of blood out of this goblin here. I figured it'd be very unsanitary, but apparently not.
Oh, we're gonna just see the. This is interesting. We've seen Luca hold this card a lot in general, but now they just.
I wonder what was the reasoning in not casting the vampire instead.
I felt like the vampire was just define her to cast it. So this is an interesting play from Luca.
Does he know about the rankle?
No, does not. Not that I think of.
I also don't believe you want to be playing Rankle currently. I think, honestly.
Well, no, it just trades for the harpooner.
And no,
I would have probably played Spawn here.
In any way, there's been no discards, there's been no attachment probes, there've been none of those. So we're currently going off blind info.
You get to
Cloud we will be seen around here in Bailite's deck, also making a presence here in Lucas.
Murderous cut this Grim Flare.
Yep. An efficient play, just deal with one creature and then dealing with the other in your end step, and then now just being able to like slam a Rankle or
Mayhem.
Yep. Spawn of Mayhem, surprisingly, able to
There's
be
also a Bitter Blossom here, which turns out very good with Rankle.
Yep. Look at this red card, that's not red.
You can cast it.
Indeed. And then you can attack with it and realize that is probably not a good idea.
You can, though. Like, you shouldn't, but...
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to tell you what to do, we're not your parents. We will, however, recommend not taking with this Bowman Korea. Yeah, we see the pop for 1 here. So that is actually another like fun little synergy here, is the fact that there's a lot of like self-hurting in Mob-Plague often. We see Bitter Blossom, we see Wrangle here, Spawn of Mayhem, notably growing each time if a player, if you have 10 or less life, it grows. Once a turn.
Yeah.
I do
That's gonna happen next turn.
on the turn.
Yep.
You know Luca's hand, you know Luca has nothing of note.
Yeah.
And next turn you just get the Rankle and sacrifice the fairy, and then it's just...
Get a Badlands, play Goblin Guide is an option.
Yeah, I think he was considering whether he wanted to just
no joke, is to discard the Goblin Guide to the air, attack with Bowman Courier, and sack it to draw a card. If you're like, I need to find something here that I don't currently have, then that might be a legitimate line of play. Because with Bitter Blossom in play, don't expect that Bowman Courier to ever just get in for free. That ain't happening. Make reservations now.
Bitter Blossom. Then we're gonna have Spawn of Mayhem. Now, the notable thing is, If Luca just deals like 3 more damage, there's a chance Luca can win this game. You can't be too slow if you're from loading's point of view here.
Well, loading can win in 3 attacks, so... Surprised that ankle didn't turn sideways, but...
Probably wanted a blocker. I would have probably just attacked with Rankle this turn though, and
yeah,
then
you win next turn.
Well, you don't because now they have a blocker, or they would have had a blocker. So your Rankle blocks Bomat Courier. I would have blocked Bomat Courier, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised to not see the Bowman Courier blocked by something here. Like, this way you at least force them to, because you don't have lethal next turn, do you? No, you 8,
You have
9,
lethal.
10. You're 1 off lethal next turn, so.
No, you don't, because you can. Rankle is basically 4 power.
Yeah, you can make them draw a card.
I forgot about the land and play. I missed that one because I just came back.
But even without the land, though, it's still lethal because your spawn grows the
6/6. As it is for 1, that's 7. You're right. I did count. I forgot the growth of the spawn. That is one I did forget. So yeah, this is game already, as it is. Unless of course loading forgets to like
usually
attack
make them
or
draw a card.
make both players lose one here.
Yeah.
Sure of that, this should be game. Now let's see. Not to be rude or anything, but let's see if we have any games still going. We have a couple of games going in the background here. I'm just gonna mention them. Bailite versus Evios. We have Loading versus Luca. That's the one we still have going on. And it's about to finish. And then we have Wolfgang and Necropotence still playing as well. So that's Bailite and Evios and Wolfgang and Necropotence. Is there any of those you would like to take a look at?
I'm pretty indifferent from those two. I feel like, do we want to go Bailite Evios, or do we want to go Wolfgang Necropotence and then Bailite Evios?
I think we should just go Bailite Evios immediately. Let's just take that out of the way. Figure that's probably going to be, in all likelihood, I'm not going to say with certainty, but in all likelihood, that will be the last game of the round to finish. You know,
never mind. Alright, we should be back to being live.
It does.
And this time I even remember to turn the microphones back on so people can hear us immediately. So, you know, value.
That seems wise. I can recommend doing so. So do we
now,
still
is
have
the last match still going on?
It does seem like it is. So we have Necropotence playing what I best guess is a Abzan midrange shell. It seems that's the 7 missions, but that's probably the 7 missions off the guns here. I think this is yeah. We have Wolfgang on their usual Grixis shells we've seen it on for most of the season, save I believe the last 2 tournaments.
Now, yeah. I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say that Necro's in a better position.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say you're absolutely correct.
It's not like one player has an Orbzadat and a Conti and Tassiger and a Survival of the Fittest and a Vassacre, and the other player has 4 1/1s with Trample.
Yeah. Now this might be a result of the board save we see, but this does look like a tad bit greedy. But that might of course be what we're seeing. Stoneforge, Sword of, I think that's Fire and Ice in the Graveyard, Shadow Spear.
Oh, elemental arts on MTGO are just all over the place. You will get red elementals made by Yampyro with the
I've seen the plans that is MTGO before. I believe it's particularly like the red 1/1 elementals. Am I correct? Or is it just
it's all elemental tokens. The arts just get shuffled all around. I think it's
So I think they're going to game 3 now.
Some might argue it's a feature and not a bug.
I think they're going to game 3 because Necro won the game, but Wolfgang won the match. So I'm assuming there was a concession for time.
I think that might make a lot of sense. We will have to check.
There appears to be another game. So
yeah.
You might want to update the names as well.
I'm working on all of that. Everything got reset when when we had the stream issues, so everything is kind of off whack. I'm slowly updating everything.
So we see a 5 from Wolfgang or 6 from Wolfgang. That looks reasonable. It's not great. It's actually, the more I'm seeing it, the more I dislike it. But
we see Wolfgang hasn't learned from his mono red days playing triple burn spells. I'm just kidding, of course. This is a fine hand. It's not incredible. It's lacking.
The problem with this hand is it doesn't do anything, and your mana is awful.
Yeah, it's a very.
I don't counter this. Don't counter this. You have one counter spell and so much removal spells.
Yeah, I agree. I do like kind of just bolding this and just seeing what.
Like if Necro casts like Survival of the Fittest next turn, you just look like an idiot now.
Or you just draw a Brazen Borrow, but even then, that's not a permanent answer for that. That's just stalling the inevitable. On the other hand, definitely does very permanently die, generally speaking.
I kind of just liked Brazen Borrowing that this turn.
Interesting. Why so?
Because I don't really want to use my only instant speed answer on it, and they're probably just recasting it next turn. And hopefully, if I draw a land or something, I can play a 3-drop. See, this is a great card that you should have mana leaked.
Agreed. And I would just think the bounce just to try and gain some tempo back here, hoping probably to draw some sort of blue source, preferably, or at least a land of some sort.
That's a good draw.
Yeah.
Play the True Name this turn. Next turn you play the Royal Scions, and then you start getting in for a 5 a turn.
Is there an argument to playing the Brazen Borrow pre the twins?
Well, you do 3 and then you do 8, 8. I would probably not. I would probably play the Royal Scions. I think the most important thing is, do you want to play at instant speed? Like if you have a counterspell, if you draw a counterspell next turn, then I'm definitely more into playing Brazen Borrower.
Right? Yeah, I agree. That gives you that flexibility, certainly.
But like if you draw just like a blank card that doesn't exist, then
we're not just seeing Necro just slam the sword here, which at least tells us there are a couple options available for them.
Well, you know there's the Thalia at the very least, right? Like you do know that's in their hands still.
What is?
The Thalia that or no, they killed the Thalia.
That's very great.
Yeah.
We found another blue source. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. That does allow us to, if we really wanna, just cast something here, including a burn spell. And honestly, I don't hate that. I kind of like just playing like probably the Fort Bolt phase, I imagine, because I'm not afraid of the downside of the Chain Lightning in this matchup. It ain't like to happen.
Yeah,
and
I do like playing the burn spell here because then next turn you can play other burn spell and Brazen Borrower regardless of what you draw.
Yeah.
And then they're at 5 life when you have 2 lethal threats on board.
Like this is not a easy choice. Speaking
Necro
of the survival,
doesn't have anything though. It looks like.
Yeah, we haven't seen any creatures, so I imagine next turn is probably going to be survival for something to play from Necro.
But next turn is going to be too late.
Presumably, yeah. So what do we keep here in Wolfgang's seat?
I'll keep this Go for the Throat. It's instant speed removal. I'm getting rid of this death rate in this. Well, maybe not the death rate. I'm getting rid of this duress. I don't like this duress.
Yeah,
we're gonna see removal spells back. This is interesting.
I don't like this Go for the Throat either. We have only
I
seen
like to go for the throat because there's gonna be a creature that's gonna get played, and then they're gonna try to equip it to sword, and it's an instant speed removal to equip the sword.
It is true. It is an SSP answer, but it does take likely, unless they want to get like a Omnifactor or the likes. It is a creature that they need to draw land and get a 1-drop to equip with a sword, if that's the route they're going down. And at that point, I think they will be dead in due diligence by that time.
What's in their hand,
But
Marco?
here, we don't
Oh, I
really know
didn't
what
see
was
it.
revealed.
You can click the revealed zone in Necro's hand. JT was taken.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apparently, Fatal Push obs that path. Notably, obs that currently uncastable.
You'll see opposite that get discarded here, probably getting a 2-drop here and keeping up path, I imagine. That is the only
What's the 2-drop you get here then? Like
maybe
Thalia?
kitchen things here would make a lot of sense. That's unreasonable.
Well, that's a 3-drop.
Oh yeah, but then you just cast that instead of keeping up the path. Like currently, yeah. What are you keeping up path for? Brazen Burrow, I suppose.
It does. I kind of like Kitchen Finks is fine here.
Santi, I do believe you have a question for you in tournament discussion. I will take care of commentary in the meantime. So yeah, we do end up getting the kit fingers here to try and stall out the threat here presented by Wolfgang, and perhaps equip the sword to and deal with this planeswalker here as well. Likely, yeah. This is just going to be a lot of damage here, and altered. Yeah. Ooh, we see them go for the double up here, removal spell wise. I do quite like that. That just means that the science here is safe. We know there's a fail push. We know there's a path in hand. I don't believe we know the last 2 cards, if I remember correctly.
I do not
And
believe that's
in all
the
likelihood,
case.
it won't be mattering at all.
The ult is 8, so they couldn't ultimate this turn.
No, correct.
Yeah. Shot is it figured it out eventually, but it's made the point.
Wait, what was path there? Did I miss what was pathed? Oh, Death Ride was pathed.
That's right, Shaman.
Yeah, that makes sense. You need to delay as much time as possible. However, that is it's technically not lethal next turn. No, wait, actually, it is exactly lethal because you draw a card for turn, of course. So that's 5 and 3. That's 8, and that is going to be Wolfgang taking it home 2 and 1 there. So just to quickly go through what we have here in the way of results, Bailite, Evios deck is a 2 and 1 in the favor of Evios. Blahguy 2 and 0 over UnusualThunder. Brahms getting the bye. We did see Loading go 2 and 1 against Luca. Stumpy 2 and 1 against Kelvin. And we did see Wolfgang 2 and 1 against Necropotence there. So that does finish up our first round of the evening, of the tournament, of the morning or the night or whenever you're watching this and wherever you're watching this.
Pairings for the next round are up.
Lovely stuff. Let's see who we have for round 2. So there was one person I was going to suggest watching because we haven't seen much. We've seen them. I believe I've seen them once. That was actually during the qualifier tournament. And that would be Hey Kelvin. That was someone I was going to suggest was an option.
We can
Otherwise,
watch them. They are playing Bailite though.
I mean, that's fine, really.
Yeah.
I might give us multiple occasions to watch them for 5 hours. 5 hours.
Red
I mean,
Mage, I have a problem. I accidentally submitted a score for my second game.
Oh. Well, I can probably fix that. Wait, what do you mean? I see that Wolfgang won.
For the second match.
The second game. The current one with Luke.
Oh, I hadn't unreported. I can make that happen. Yeah, there you go. Delete result. You should be good.
So yeah, so we will be featuring. I believe we're just gonna have some bit of additional time getting Kelvin set up here due to there being a tap bit new on the end of this. But we'll be having our currently only certain player to make it to the finals, Bailite, who's here just for the fun mostly. Who's playing his presumably his usual Abzan deck, but he might be deciding that now is the time.
It doesn't matter. It's time to branch out, try new things, maybe.
Please, Bailite branching out. I mean, that's like me not playing mono red. Oh wait, I mean that's like Wolfgang not playing mono red.
Oh, things are happening.
Cousins.
It's like us not being quarantined. Oh wait, that's still happening. That's sad.
Oh no.
There. Oh, wishful thinking.
So we do have the game up here currently. Oh, we have seen Bailite. I think even on stream actually once at least. I think we see Bailite playing something that isn't Abzan, if I remember correctly. Might be incorrect. I don't know.
Okay.
Sure.
I saw blue and red cards, and so I'm assuming that was not Bailite's hand that we saw.
Yeah. I'm working. I did the thing.
It looks like Hey Kelvin, who is on the top here for reference, despite the hand being on both sides, is on more or less the same list that they were during the qualified tournament. We sadly actually didn't see them play that much, so I'm really happy to see what they'll be precisely piloting. It does look like it's a white-red token-based aggro deck, which is Boros is usually considered like one of, if not the worst, two color pairings in the format, considering, yeah, they're mono white and mono red are pretty much just aggro colors. Like, yeah, you can play like some slightly more DNT-ish or control-ish, the medium-ish white. You can play some medium red, but like they are colors that want to get on the board early, and presumably also swing in this format.
Oh
Usually.
my god, there's a Karakas that was just dropped.
Oh, no. The worst part is I don't even think we're gonna see cast here. Oh, we are gonna see.
We see ransack the lab so we can
We're
Karakas here.
here, presumably. I don't think we're going for another land. If we're getting something, it's probably gonna be untapped here.
Lura seems a reasonable pick here.
Oh, Lurus plus I'm just looking at this, like, this feels like the same list, but like we just went even more ham on like the graveyard shenanigans here in Bailite's list. Like we're playing Random instead. We're playing Marin, I believe that's Marin, correct? We're playing Ransack the Lab, Stitches Supplier. Like this is Bailite going, what if I went even more all in on my graveyard shenanigans?
Yeah, Bailite is very often trying to like bake new themes into Abzan midrange. It's a very versatile pair, right? We have seen the life gain theme, we have seen like a few different things throughout the year. Here he's trying a more graveyardy version, I suppose.
Yeah, we've for a long time seen a lot of the Delirium cards being pretty consistent. Emrakul, the Promised End, and
recasting that the Hound.
Yeah, I think they just don't have too much else to do this turn. I think that's just
they don't.
Possession style, I imagine. I believe there was an Incinerate.
There's an Incinerate in like a lot of lands. I think there's a plateau in like 3 mountains.
Correct. That is a really awkward hand. I think they're on double land as of now. Or would it be? Yeah, no, it would be double land. They've only seen 2 turns as of now.
They did keep a 4-lander, but I guess one of the lands was the Mistress Factory. It's still a little bit high. I probably would have mulliganed, but
it's a bit of an like, depending on like how low curve. Like, if this is a list that's playing cards like Hero of Bladehold, and if that's the like level we're going for, I think it's unreasonable to keep a 4-land hander where one of the lands is like a man land. I think that's perfectly reasonable. But if we're talking like we curve out at 3, like mono red does, like mono white usually does, then I'm looking at
Skull Clamp is pretty interesting.
Oh, I can't draw the land. I'm just losing here.
So So I actually really like
Hmm.
just attacking here with Signal Pest and the Hound, because there's a good chance that Citrus Supplier just jumps in front of this Hound, and then you can Skull Clamp your Hound to draw cards.
Now here's the question to you: put Skullclamp in front first, as is
No,
probably
I would
Oh.
just go straight up into attack.
So
But
we're
I
taking
think that now they're not going to be blocking with the
No,
Citrus
we
Supplier.
don't have the mana wood.
They are now still, which makes sense. They just want to get their Citrus Supplier dead. But I really would have liked turning
You're in
this.
in hand. We definitely want our yard to be as big as possible.
I mean, you can
I
also just
do-
animate that Dolores, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why do I keep calling reanimate that?
Reanimate that? I don't know.
This new card.
It does both.
Reanimate Dead. It returns a card named Animate Dead from your graveyard to the battlefield.
No, it just does both. You do the animate that thing where it stays on the battlefield and then the creature get -1, -0, but then you also lose the life.
Ah,
We like getting slammed here.
it also costs 3 mana. One
leaving the Raggets up.
black.
The greed. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what Marin's going to start out with here. Getting back to Loris. Yeah. And now surely, but slowly, will be just
Okay.
grinding out here.
Now,
The question I see here, and you have to tell me what you think here, Santi. Do you think Kevin can get back in this with the Skull Clamp?
yes, but you have to be very aggressive with the Skull Clamp. I think you need to play Skull Clamp, equip it to. I think you just play the Beaumont Courier and kill the Beaumont Courier with Skull Clamp.
So we see the Skull Clamp just slammed immediately here, and then immediately
This is
equip.
reasonable. I don't hate attacking here because you are attacking before. You don't get a good block.
Now, normally, like if I didn't have the Skull Clamp in hand, I could even have seen like in play. I could just have seen playing Bomber Career swing in and just throwing these lands away for a new card.
Yes, I
But
could see that as well.
I think it's not worth it. I do like this take 4 or like make this really bad trade for you.
Yeah,
That said, I don't see a chance in hell that this trade is ever happening.
I don't see any chance that this trade is happening. The problem with this is I also don't think this 4 is gonna matter.
And we say goodbye to Norman Korea.
Hanged Executioner is an interesting one. It's really good with Skull Clamp, it turns out.
Great Titan, a great reanimation target. Currently in the wrong zone. Currently, it's in our first hand, not our second hand, sadly. So it's hard to cast that way. So I'm curious to see what Bailite's going to do here, because there's a lot of options here. Looks like Luris is what we're going to see.
Luris, play Stitcher Supplier.
Makes sense.
Just keep your graveyard increasing.
Yeah, keep just getting more chump blockers that we can get
This
back.
card's
Grow the Marin.
great chump block.
Yep.
And see, now I'm really happy if this card just chump blocks my dude, because my dude dies to Skull Clamp now, and then that's cool with me.
Now, Hanged Execution here is a 3-mana 1/1 flyer that makes a 1/1 flyer when it enters the battlefield. And for 4, that is 3 and a white specifically, you can exile it to exile another target creature. This feels too expensive in this format. And I think it sounds like
I do not think the card is good in this format. I do like it here though, because it's gonna kill this Midrange.
like it as a concept, but I don't like how expensive it is. I agree. I think if like maybe the exiling and if it was 2 mana to make a 1/1 flyer, but that makes another 1/1 flyer, that'd be probably really, really freaking good. But like 4 mana to exile a card is really expensive, and all I get out of it afterwards is I've had like 2 1/1s flying.
These are some good draws, though, I will say.
Oh yeah, like Recruiter getting anything I want. That's pretty good.
Gideon just making an idiot here is very powerful.
One problem I have with this is that despite all these lands I have, this is it. 2 free drops and a 4-drop. And that's kind of awkward. Because there's a lot
You
of
just
mana.
play this Gideon here, make it 2/2. They can't attack. Bailite can't attack. I mean, they can attack with the 3/4, but your Gideon's going to survive through the 3/4.
I mean, the real question here is, will Bailite attack even if it's profitable? But no, Lurrus isn't getting in, and Mirren can attack, but it's not killing Gideon off. They could, if they really wanted to, say attack with Lurrus, attack with Mirren, attack with Deathright Shaman at Gideon.
I mean, they could also just attack or play Murderous Rider. And doesn't Murderous Rider help out here, or does it only deal damage to players?
Murderous Rider is not in hand here. I think you're saying...
Or Murderous Red Cap, sorry.
That does in fact help us kill the Gideon off here. Yeah. Attack with Mirren on the Gideon, put him at 1, pop him with Red Cap, that's the route you want to go. Perfectly reasonable. I think the downside of that is that currently you have so much stuff to do. Both players have this problem that you just want to develop your mana. And where Kelvin has like all the lands they want and then some, Bailite is sitting with none available currently, as far as I can see in any shape, to develop their mana situation.
When Bailite finally finds his next land, he does get to cast a Grave Titan.
Absolutely. And that's a card that just goes, oh, you're trying to play tokens? How cute.
I make tokens too.
Yeah.
I do think that the best play here for Bailite is to just attack with Mirror and see what happens. And then based on that, you can change your play.
I mean, you're
after.
50.
So they're gonna. So the casting of the Elves of the Deep Shadow here means that Bailite's attacking with everything here.
Yeah.
Or
why
just
not?
these two, because you only cast the Elves of the Deep Shadow if you are expecting your Lurrus to die
Your
here.
experience kind of here, so that doesn't bring us up to Nervous's back for free territory quite yet. But we can still get some back, some sort of cards.
So we're just playing a Wolf Strider as well. We're not even killing this Gideon yet.
I imagine we're actually going to see something sacrificed here. I was wrong. I expect...
Yeah, you sacrifice the goat here, and then you just get back.
Oh! And a fencer is in the graveyard. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. Yeah, I think Kelvin's dead.
Oh, next turn Murderous Rider just comes down, and
It sure seems like it.
you do have to get rid of this goat first, but that's pretty trivial to do.
Yeah, those are unfamiliar with persist combos. The essence of them are that the persist creatures enter the battlefield from the graveyard when they die, if they did not have a -1/-1 counter on them when they died. They then end up with a -1/-1 counter, so it shouldn't keep happening, right? No. Trick is, if you're a cast that somehow either remove the counter when it enters the persist creature enters the battlefield, or just stop them from entering with the -1/-1 counter, then you can keep sacrificing them indefinitely. And Murderous Recap and things especially don't even require you to have any payoff for sacrificing them, because they get themselves entering the battlefield, either deal damage or gain you life.
They are the payoff.
They are the payoff, in fact. That means an offensa means that when this Murderous Recap comes back from its persist trigger, you're able to put the +1/+1 counter on it, because it's a creature with 1 toughness, so you don't even need to set up for it. That removes the -1/-1 counter. Now you deal 2 damage to your opponent. I think that's the ordering. Depending on how you set it up, if you're smart, that just saves you some clicks. Then you can sacrifice again, bring it back, remove the -1/-1 counter with an offensive triggered ability. And then you go on from there, and you wait till your opponent concedes, or you dealt sufficient damage. Yeah, this might actually be a sort of... It's not Sandy B, it feels like a graveyard-based This feels like a commander deck, I'm not even gonna lie. It's actually kind of odd. I don't know why, but I'm getting that, like, feeling. Not in a, feels like a commander deck and it's bad, but in a, this feels like something I could see in Commander, because all of these cards are like, cards I wouldn't blame someone for playing in Commander. And yet, they're still pretty solid in this format. Now, I think the curve might be a tad bit high, if you ask me, but
He's
Bailite's
in Pyromancer. Oh,
You always say that.
yeah, of course. I play mono red, and like when I play decks, I would like them being low curve in this format. I'm not a big fan of casting format I cast if they don't win me the game like quickly. And that's just because
Well,
I like
um,
mono red. My opinion stance is pretty much the same if I'm playing blue white control. Like I want to try and play as few cards that cost more than 4 or 5 mana.
so it would be really funny if Gosmit forgets to sacrifice this goat.
Yeah, it'd be really funny if I forget to sacrifice the goat.
I'm just saying that would be pretty funny. Although I
Yeah.
guess the red cap entering the first time will bolster onto the goat, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so the thing about that is bolster is not based on power, but it's based on toughness. And since the Murderous Red Cap will have 1 toughness when entering the battlefield again, it doesn't really matter. So even if there was another 1 toughness creature in play, that wouldn't matter because you can always just keep choosing the Murderous Red Cap each time. So unless you find a way to have a 0 toughness creature in play, which is technically doable, I'm pretty sure at the very least with like Onset.
It's possible. Is it? No.
With Onsets, I'm certain it is. It might be without it. I'm not gonna act judge here and say, oh, there's this 5-card combo that allows me to have anything in play.
Although,
like-
why is Bailite targeting creatures here?
I believe this is referred to as BM in the business. That, or somehow not knowing that they have a combo that they put in a deck on purpose. One of those two.
JP
No,
also makes the relevant point that with this combo, you also get infinite mirror encounters.
Exactly.
Which, I mean,
Yeah.
value.
Pointing out that this is a very different look from Bailite's usual Abzan. This is a much more like typical mid-range deck in some manners.
Well, I will say, Bailite, please mulligan your hand. I cannot bear to look at it.
Yes! Sneep.
Live the Skull Camp dream. Is it incorrect to keep his hand? Absolutely.
Why?
Damn.
So this hand does get a little bit better when you're on 6 and not 7, but oh boy. I will say though, Kelvin's hand is also just garbage. Like I guess Stoneforge is a 2-drop, but
you Wasteland here? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so I'm gonna be not devil's advocate. What is the word for someone who's just being a rude asshole? I know, rude asshole. I gotta use that one. I'm gonna be a rude asshole here and say probably don't play 4 mana, make 3 1/1 tokens. That's a sorcery. I would not recommend that.
Like, if you're in the business making 3/1/1 tokens, there's only one card that does that for 3 mana, I believe. Was it Horde?
Well, there's a couple. There's Triplicate Spirit, there's Spectral Processions.
Oh, Spectral Procession, right.
And I guess if you don't have to, if it technically has to be 3 tokens, sure. It's probably one of the only ones. Oh look, I too have Skullclamp.
When I was first getting into Highlander, I built a Abzan tokens list. Which was interesting. The deck was really bad, but
for what it's worth, it was also literally the second Highlander deck I ever built, and then I also came to the conclusion that it was bad.
we see Stoneforge getting Skullclamp. Interesting. I'm not gonna blame that.
Skullclamp definitely a card that draw a card, 2, or 5, or 8, or infinite.
We're gonna see the Palace Gerald go bye-bye, which is really sad.
No. Gosmit can then animate dead the Palace.
You mean Bailite, but yes.
Yes.
Although I don't think that is particularly that good.
No, Palace
Because you're not going to be able to hold on to this Monarch, not with your hand. Like,
well, not with that attitude.
Find a way to get that monarchy back. sooner or later or both.
Yeah, but you may wait 3 turns, in which case you may just be dead.
With an attitude like that. Oof.
Sometimes it doesn't matter what your attitude is, you just die.
Equip, like, what do we do here? There's a lot of options. What do you think, Santi?
As far as this, I probably just want to make a shit ton of tokens here. Like, make as many tokens as I possibly can. They're just gonna make 2 tokens and skull clam them both. I'm actually not a huge fan of just Soul Ring. That's a reasonable magic card. I kind of want to leave 3 tokens at one point in this game so I can just flip this Legion's Landing. And the other thing about this, you drew Beaumont card. You get max rewarded for this whole chain of events. Soaring into Beaumont Courier. But
this is gonna sound weird, but it can be actually correct to not draw cards with Skull Clamp. I know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like it
that
worked
does
out
not
really
sound
well
accurate.
for them there. But I do think you do need to also present damage to kill Bailite at some point. Like Bailite's doing nothing because he kept his hand, which I still hold as atrocious. But
I recommend killing him sooner or later.
So this is what I like doing. I like doing this Murderous Redcap, killing the Stoneforge here, and then animate deading the Stoneforge. Oh, that cap one.
Question is if Bailite is playing any equipment besides the Skull Clamp here. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's not the case.
I would imagine Bailite's playing some battered skull.
I can give you a list of targets in a second. I'll go check it out.
We do see another point of another pointed card here in Mox Ruby, so that brings us to presumably 2 out of 3 pointed cards.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say the last point is a Mox.
Well, the last 3 points, yes.
Isn't
Soul
is
Ring-
Skull Clamp still points?
Is Soul Ring only 3 points, right?
No.
It's
Is
4.
Skull Clamp still points?
No, Skull Clamp
it
is
has
not
been
point.
points for ages. Like I think when I started playing like multiple like 4-ish not 4 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, it wasn't pointed either, and it hasn't been pointed since then.
You assume that they know what these cards that go on Tiny Idiots do. Like I'm like I don't keep track of all that crap.
Oh, we see this.
Why would you have a cast?
Mox Ring is the
Wow,
widespread.
Bailite is not the position you want to be in. It is ramp. And it is card draw-ish.
Skull Clamp is the only target of Bailites. But it's target.
Yeah, this is just lethal. And then some. Yeah, we're just going, yeah, I have you dead. I'm just gonna see how dead you are, you know, because I can.
It's not absurdly dead, to be fair. It's just like dead.
Oh, let's count here. That is 1, 2.
They're only at
4.
Okay, with the Skull Clamp, they go to negative. Like they had to do everything they did for lethal. I guess they didn't have to cast the Raise the Alarm. That's the only thing they didn't have to do there for lethal.
I don't think they had to equip the Skull Clamp either for status.
Okay, yeah, that's fair as well. They couldn't have done those 2 things.
You're right.
The Lightning Helix needed to get cast though.
This was cast a creature, cast a burn
Oh,
spell.
Soul Ring's in this hand. This hand's busted.
Yeah, so I was initially like, and I think this is depending on how you want to build your white-red token stack. I think you can go white-red, go white, and white-red token. White-red tokens is what we're seeing here. I think that's a more medium-sized version of the.
This hand's garbage.
Yeah, I was about to say, boy, I have bad news about that Soul Ring you were talking about.
The hand got a lot worse.
Hand got a lot better. Again, well, not nearly as much.
Still not nearly as good as it used to be.
No. Yeah, turn
Like you
2
kept a 4-lander on the back that your solving was gonna do work, and you don't have a solving to do work anymore. And you just have a shit ton of lands.
Absolutely. Oh. Oh, we have birthing pot from Bailite. So this is definitely a full-on like list that's going full-on like aristocrats combo as well. For
So
sure.
Bailite decided to bring a different deck. He just couldn't put it in his heart to bring a different color of deck. It just had to be Abzan. So.
Playing blue, ugh. Playing red, ugh.
What is this?
That's why there's that. Yeah.
Ooh,
So,
Krenko though. Krenko's a big idiot.
So I was trying to say earlier, I think there's like really kind of, in my opinion, two reasonable ways to make the white-red tokens archetype, and that's the kind of quote-unquote medium plan, where you play like a lot of the free and force, especially focusing on that area, and make like a lot of tokens, Krenko, Hero Bladehold, those kind of cards, and you just kind of do the usual medium stuff, but you focus on going wide in a manner. And then I think there's the other side of the spectrum, which is just you go, haha, 1-drop, haha, 1-drop, haha, something that pumps my board, die.
So here's a question for you, Cosmic. Do you minus on Krenko or do you minus on?
Initially, I was like, how do you minus Crank? I was like, what? Huh? How do you minus Krenko? Teach me your ways. No, I think you absolutely minus Krenko here because I think you will be seeing a Blade Splice and a
So the reason to not minus Krenko is then from what you know, they can't flip the Legion's Landing.
I don't believe they can in either case. So unless they have a
They
haste.
can with Heroic Intervention. Heroic Intervention allows them to flip it.
Yeah, but that allows them to flip either way.
Yeah, but if you minus on Krenko, then they can still attack with Krenko and flip it because they attack with 3 creatures.
Their Krenko, I will happily eat their Krenko.
I mean, this turn is easy for Goblin. They just play land, they cast Heroic Intervention, they attack with everything.
I completely disagree.
For the record, it is a heroic. It's heroic reinforcements.
Heroic reinforcement.
Heroic intervention is the one where all your stuff gets.
You can secure the waste for free on your opponent's end.
Why are you casting Secure this turn though? Like if you cast Heroic Intervention, you get to kill Liliana, and you also get to attack with Krenko to make 3 tokens.
You make literally no token. You make 1 token with Krenko, I believe. Because you put 1+1 counters on it, and then it has 1
It's equal to its power. It's equal to Krenko's power, though, right? Not tokens.
And do you remember what card? Oh, we didn't minus on the Krenko. Never mind. Oh yeah, no, we're slamming.
You minus on a Goblin here, yeah. Like you.
I did not realize Krenko didn't get minused.
You get to flip your Legion's Landing. You get to attack with everything here. They can still kill your Krenko, but then you get to kill their 3.
I don't want to really attack with my Krenko just getting killed here. Like, I'm not going wide enough. It's not making tokens. Like, why? And then you're like, you do know that Krenko's gonna make some tokens. Wait, what?
Krenko was making the same number of tokens as your Secure the Waste was this turn. Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact that there was this first strike ability, we could also just have like, I don't know, activated our land prior to attacking. Also an option. Not nearly as good, but is an option, and presumably an option we will see next turn. So we take 6 here.
Take 6 and Bailite's still at 18.
Yeah, because that's 6 damage went to Liliana.
Oh, to Liliana, right? Never mind.
We're gonna see a pod here, presumably. Or do we just want to like hold up opposition agent just to have some more bloggers? I'm curious to see.
I'm playing pod here. I might even be podding this Blade Splicer.
I mean, yeah, if you're podding something, it's Blade Splicer. That card's just not worth it.
Like you got a Sea Shriner or something in your deck? I don't know. You got.
Yeah.
Oh, can you get to like? Are you playing Corvix? That card's really good here.
Core what?
I mean, almost certainly no, but I will check for you.
That card I think that would be a pretty useful option, but we sadly do not have a CMC 2 creature.
There is no Carvec the Spiteful or Carvec the
That's-
Merciless in Bailite's
It's
deck.
so sad. That card would be so good here.
We have what is it called, the 3 mana 2/2 Death Touch that gives -1/-1 to all cards of a chosen creature type your opponent controls. Plague Engineer.
Plague Engineer? That's
I
a
know
But you
more
need a
relevant
2-drop
question.
And
There is
Plague
no
Engineer.
Plague Engineer.
Plague Engineer would probably just have to name Goblin here.
Yeah, we sadly can't get it currently because we have no 2 mana
Yeah.
creature.
There is
So
no
we're gonna
Plague
have
Engineer.
4 we're going for instead.
Murder Strider. Murder Strider is reasonable. Or Murder Strider Cap, sorry.
I'm
I keep
trying
saying
to think,
Murder
is
Strider.
there a setup where we get we can get a 2 mana sacrifice out of that possibly? That's definitely an option. I'm trying to think if there's some sort of setup here that allows us to.
Path
Oh,
Murder
my
Strider?
red cap.
Or Murder's Red Cap, whatever the murders that's on the battlefield.
I was just gonna say, I just kind of want to secure the waste and then next turn activate my castle. But suddenly
Well,
attacking.
notably, you
very
can activate Castle with Sunbaked Cannon. Okay. I am a big fan of just
have a red
killing
cap.
this Murderous Red Cap with this Path Exile and then activating Castle and getting in there for 8 damage.
Both Castle and Secura are perfectly reasonable choices here. Either way, I think you're attacking, sacrificing a token for some damage here. Perfectly fine. Probably makes most sense to just attack first. If they block,
I think that you castle either way because you're presenting lethal on 2 turns.
yeah, that's perfectly valid. I mean, I think you do that either way. I guess keeping Secure plays around a sweeper, which with a Birthing Feather in hand play is not completely unreasonable to see. Yeah, I do like this play for Bailite, recognizing that Plague Engineer, which they might well have, is a great here. And not blocking Goblins here.
They don't have a Plague Engineer. That is.
Oh, they don't. Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of expect that too. So, Bailite,
you got a 4-drop in your deck that does something Bailite?
Dead on board.
Well, it is known for having cards that do other things. Ooh, Luminous Brood Moth is kind of interesting also in general. Not here, but you could do some stuff.
You can indeed do stuff.
Siege Rhino? Okay, Siege Rhino puts you at 11. It's not that good, to be fair.
Well, next turn you get to pod this Siege Rhino into a Karmic Guide.
Is this lethal?
No.
6. No, you only have 9.
Firstly, even if you can't...
You do get to kill Siege Rider here, though.
No.
How?
You don't have red enough.
Just... you're missing a red? That's fair. Okay.
You're just gonna... You can attack here if you want to. That's definitely an argument to it. But either way, you just pass on the cast Secure the Waste. That is that's 9 tokens to play.
I think there's still an argument to just pump your castle. I don't think it's correct to do castle anymore. You should attack though. But this eliminate looks heinous.
So what 5 drops do you have?
Karmic Guide. I'm potting this Rhino into Karmic Guide and then Karmic Guide in the Rhino back. Every time. I think it's just best.
Yeah, because we don't have anything of note in the graveyard to get back, no. Yeah, that is probably the most reasonable line play.
So that brings you up to 14.
Due to the fact that you have Eliminate, I'm sure you can play around some sort of instant speed thing. But I think I attack here, and if they want to make a token and 5-way block my Siege Rider, I'll happily eliminate something. And if they want to
you could pot into Thragtusk, that's another option, I guess. But I think I like the Karmic Guide play more, and then next
Karmic Guide gains you pretty much the same amount of life and gives you 2 blockers.
Yeah. And then next turn you pot the Rhino into Thragtusk.
I don't see why you wouldn't attack here first. Yeah, sure, it could end up badly for you, but it's so unlikely that they go for that route, I imagine.
I don't know. If you get blown out, if they just have, I don't know, Gideon's Reproach or something, then you just lose the game, right? That's the thing.
I just imagine that if you get blown out here, you get blown out no matter what this turn.
Is there something crazy? You would pot into Gravebreaker Lamia.
2 of lethal. A red source is lethal now. because we can activate for 18. They block 2, that puts them at 14. They then kill 1 Goblin token, or Warrior token. And that is not lethal, I believe.
That is lethal because one of these idiots gets haste.
Once again,
No.
you do not have the red mana to both activate Castle and cast one of these 2 spells in hand.
Okay, I'm just attacking with everything and activating castle.
I'm not even sure Comic Guy is worth keeping around here necessarily. Next turn. I mean, it's dead. Doesn't really matter. It was more of a hypothetical.
So 6, they go to
Kill a Goblin token. If you're
they're going to 10. Then they go up to 9 with the Thrag Tusk.
how do you go up to 9 with Fractusk?
Because you're only going to 4. You go to 4 here.
Oh, you mean from blocking with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I may have just done math wrong here. Oh,
Okay.
does this Eldamri's call do anything?
You can find and cast. I would probably just find and cast Sphinx, and then you can Sphinx into. You can pod the Sphinx into a 4, I guess.
Yeah.
You can pod Siege into a 5 still, like drag to gain even more life.
I can't think of like a creature into a unless you have something that clears the board here. I don't think you come back in this game. Simply put, I can't think of anything.
Sphinx goes a long way.
It gains you. It blocks a creature.
The problem is Calvin is running out of draws. Like he's not drawing massively, makes a shit ton of token cards. Like if you start gaining 7 life, there's gonna become a point where Calvin can't keep up with that. They're chump attacking each turn.
Can we just get what 4-drops are left in Bailite's deck currently?
It is also worth mentioning that the thing that you could do is pod the Rhino into Gravebreaker Lamia, which is also interesting for other reasons.
What's in Graveyard?
Wow, I did not expect that card to be included here. So Graveyard Lamia is a 4 in the black for a 4/4 with lifelink. It is, I don't remember the creature type, but it's an enchantment creature.
It is a Snake Lamia.
What's in Graveyard, Marco? Can you pull that up?
Yeah, and when it enters the battlefield, you basically entomb yourself. Oh yeah, and spells you cast from graveyard cost 1 less. I completely forget that ability because I've never seen it be relevant. The last line. It's probably going to be relevant at some point.
Oh, the other thing you could get here is you could get a Lurrus.
Lurrus, yeah, definitely. Lurrus is interesting. Lurrus get back what? Deathrite?
Deathrite?
And then Deathrite into a 2. Look, either way, I'm trying to see, is there a way I can clear? Do I have some sort of... We established there's no easy board clear in this deck, correct?
Not I'm finding. I'm still looking there.
Yeah, so if there's no way to really Penny down the Rockstar, indeed, it was a really solid card in that format. But yeah, if there's no real way to straight up just like kill the board state.
If you get a Kitchen Sphinx here.
Yeah, things, and then either sack the things to get a 4, or sack the Rhino to get like, yeah, Lamia or something.
Well, if you get a Sphinx here, is that even enough to keep you alive?
Okay, so we've decided that we want to get a fighter up here.
Okay, so I think that means they're getting Thrag Tusk or Gravebaker. I would probably get Thrag Tusk, but
Yeah, Fractus is definitely a solid option as well, so we're tutoring first. We're gonna see here.
So if you wanted, you would pod the things into maybe Entomber Exarch, and then get back.
Bailite's already decided that Siege Rhino is either Siege Rhino is getting podded, or for some reason this is leaving. Yeah, so I think we're getting here. I'm getting some sort of fight drop.
I don't know if Knight is better than Finks. Finks might be better, but
the thing is, if your Finks dies while you are at 0 or less, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
Like
suppose
it's
that's
the
fair.
life. So if you're already designing that it's the 5-drop that's getting 4-drop, the C-Triangle that's getting potted away, then I think Knight is the safer play.
So
Not
we see
the-
Kelvin
Oh,
finally
you
draw the
gained
land.
all the 4 lives on the things immediately. You're potting the things if you get them.
tokens that you're dead. I believe.
So
8 out of
6. So
16.
4 gets through.
Sure is
That's
lethal.
8. And this is lethal. This is lethal.
So it's 12. You
It's
take
exactly 11.
8 of it. Yeah, it's 11 exactly. They found the third dread
We
source.
finally found the mountain. Which, to be fair, I would have felt bad for Kelvin if they didn't end up winning this game because this was.
Damage. Friendship is just 4 damage instead of, so it's actually even over. So we will see Kelvin here taking it home 2-1 against Bailite.
Very close game 3.
Absolutely.
Very, very close. Bailite
Bailite
tried to hold on.
barely-
Although I feel justified in Bailite losing this game after that hand he kept. Or was that game 2? That may have been game 2. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
that was a
no-
different game.
well, right. It didn't feel like a different game somehow though.
They all just start to blur together.
Yeah, so looking at what we have left.
Wait, there's still another game going on?
Yeah, in fact, we have Brahms and
Wolfgang and
WolfgangCloud still
Brahms.
have yet to report, so I presume they're still going. Yeah, it does seem so. So we will be getting those up and going in the
There's a
background
sort
while
of
we
Fire
speak
Knife
and
down
annoy you.
here, and there's also an 11-11. This is interesting.
Big boy. So you're a big fan of like a 3-mana 7/6, I heard. How do you feel about 2-mana 11/11? What's your stance?
2-mana 20/20s are better apparently, but you know, I
Is it
personally,
2020?
so
Holy
I
crap!
think that Scourge is good. The problem I have with Scourge though is that in general, I think it's overvalued a lot of times. In the formats that it's running. I do think it's a very powerful card. I do think it's very good, but people think it's a 2-mana 5/5, and it's make it a 2-mana 5/5 that attacks as a 5/5 on turn 3 is not the easiest thing to do in the world. You do need to do more work than playing a 3-mana spell.
So with that, it seems like we did have our final match. So I'll just go over the results from round 2 here. Blahguy 2-0 against Loading. Brahms, we just saw finish the game there, 2-1 against WolfgangCloud. Stumpy going 2-0 against Evios. Hey Kelvin, who we followed, 2-1 against Bailite. Luca, our round 1 feature, 2-0 against Necropotence, and UnusualThunder with the bye for this round. With that, I do believe, in fact, we have a round 3 about to come up in not too long. But before that, Santi, I believe you have some things to say. And I can't spell.
So Discord, if you are interested in learning more about Canadian Highlander, we have a Discord server, or there's a Canadian Highlander Discord server. There's a lot of people who can help you if you're trying to make decks, get into the format, have any questions. It's a very nice community. You should join the Discord if you're interested at all. Also, if you're interested in playing in the events that we have, joining the Discord is very helpful. We run things through the Discord, and so you need to be involved there. Also, if you want to sign up for the next event, we have the next event up, and I believe Marco should have fixed it by now. Red Mage should have fixed it so that it is published, and so you can be signing up right now if you'd like. We have our website if you want to know more about the 10th point itself. We have stuff over there about the host. We have stuff over there about some tournament rules, and we have some stuff over there about current standings. If you're interested at all in learning more about the 10th point, visit our website. And lastly, if you have any of those sweet, sweet Twitch primes, they should go to someone. We would appreciate it if they came to us, but they don't have to. But they should go to someone. The streamers need this money way more than Amazon and Jeff Bezos does. So make sure to use your Twitch Prime on someone. Don't let it go to waste. And lastly, Time Walk. If you don't know how to do the Time Walk combo, we don't see Symbol Man that much anymore.
Oh,
but
we actually haven't seen Chuck in a while here. Someone really needs to bring some band.
If you're confused about how to do the Spellseeker Time Walk combo, you can type in dash or exclamation point Time Walk into the chat, and that will tell you how to do the Time Walk combo. And with that, we should have our round 3 pairings coming up.
I am glad that
Moment.
Time Walk combo Hobbit is still
wait,
there,
there's
ready
no
for us to be ready. The pairings are up.
So
explain that in a
loading
moment,
to answer
but
your
there's no way
question.
the time walk isn't a dance move. Come on.
To
That's
answer your
dance move. Come on.
to answer your question, loading about why that's a command, we had someone Symbolman who would play this, and he played this for like 8 weeks, and everyone kept asking how it was done, and Cosmic got tired of explaining it, and so we created a command.
No, I just happened to explain it every time it was up. And yeah, we were asked a couple of times, but mostly
Guys,
me being like,
The pairings are up.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
turns out it takes time to explain. It's a lot of like lines that aren't like
Wait.
necessarily
Are
just
pairings up?
to explain.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, it wasn't updating. For
Let's see here. Bailite, in fact, has to buy here. We have Brahms and UnusualThunder. Hey, Kelvin.
Brahms and Unusual Thunder is the 2-0, so we could watch them.
That's
Or the
definitely
2-0-1-1.
We
So
haven't
they
seen
are
Unusual
the
Thunder or Brahms much today, so I think that's a perfectly reasonable choice. We have loading Necro. We have seen Necro a little bit and received a good bit of loading. We have Stumpy and Blahguy, neither of which we have seen as well. And we have Wolfgang and Luca, both of which have seen some amount of highlight. So I'd say either Brahms or UnusualThunder, or if you want something else, Blahguy and Stumpy are our two.
I'm
best
already loading up Brahms and the Unusual Thunder.
Absolutely. Oh god. Entomb Gamble. Unearth, oh boy. That's hot.
we see Braum starting off with this basic planes
I
over
think
here.
D&T or something, perhaps?
We did see sort of
Brahms-
RNA
Brahms is on
and
D&T, yeah.
Oh wow,
Restoration.
yeah, we haven't seen D&T in ages around here.
Ooh, and
He-
Monored from Unusual
Specifically-
Thunder.
Specifically also
Oh,
said that he's using his old list, so it's old and bad.
Well, I think okay, D&T is definitely a deck that you really want to like tech to the meta. So in that manner, yeah. But I still think like if I remember Brahms D&T list, it was perfectly fine and solid. Like look at his hand. It's lacking a white source. Oh wait, we already played planes. I'm dumb.
To be fair, to address Loman's point about how we just saw it kill Wolfgang last game, I mean, you could have blinked and missed that game. That game was on screen for a total of 2 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. I'm not gonna lie here.
Ooh, there's an Armageddon or Ravages of War.
Yeah, but you know what is even better here for Brahms here? Call Firewalker.
Yeah, your Warren
almost only
Instigator
red
ain't
card.
getting through this core Firewalker.
And you know what ain't that great in this matchup? Press of Progress. Kinda stinky. It's probably gonna
And
hurt
look,
you.
it's dealing
more.
2 now.
Wow, congratulations. 2 mana deal 2 to your opponent and 2 to yourself. What a card. So Mirror Crusader has 2 protections. Black and red. Wait, sorry, it's black and green. So that means this break can in fact take out the Crusader here. That said, there's a Call Firewalker. Keeping back.
This
just
core
about
Firewalker
everything here.
continues to be a problem.
Absolutely. This is something you're gonna have to find a way around, either just by going wide enough, or by end up finding like a combo line here. If Thunder is on a combo line here with Goblins, I imagine most people do at this point. It's fairly free to have in your Goblins list these days. It's essentially the same if you're familiar with it. The Goblins combo that you see in Modern, pretty much that people usually play. There is the possibility for doing a persist combo, but I believe that requires you to splash like a green-red goblin. If I remember correctly.
We see the interesting getting rid of the Warrant Instigator here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine that's because we want to see.
So, speaking of goblin combo, if you want to find a combo that's based around goblins, Boggart Harbinger is your boy or girl. I don't really know Boggart genders, or sexes. No. Do they have them? I don't know.
I believe that's a thing. Yes, I mean, one of the titles is Auntie. That feels like it's
That
a
might also
gender
just
title.
be that might also just be a title. I don't know. They are an alien race, my friend.
So I don't think you want to blow up lands this turn. Maybe you do still.
That's a good point.
Maybe you do just because you know there's a goblin on top of your library and don't.
Did we see what was put on top again? I kind of missed it.
Marco, what was put on top?
Marco said.
I'll tell you in a sound.
Marco said, "Long live Marco."
It should be in the revealed cards for Unusual Thunder.
Yeah.
An easy place to find it.
Oh yeah, it's just revealed, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Recruiter was on top.
Goblin Recruiter. Yeah, that makes sense. That's
Yeah. I kind of don't want my opponent to have lands after they have a Goblin Recruiter. Like.
Even more importantly, I don't want them to have Goblin Recruiter.
Like you can't really stop them from drawing the Goblin Recruiter, but you sure as heck know they're not drawing a land next turn. And
yeah, that means that said, Goblin Recruiter currently can win with just one more land drawn, because you can play the Recruiter, kill it with like the Braid, and then set up the combo, which only requires 2 mana really.
So we see the Ranger here. I would not have played the land. That is a big thing. I don't think you should have played the land.
What are you getting here with this Ranger, though? I'm curious.
Like
the go-to answer is usually something like Mother Ruins or something.
Oh, I'm getting Mom here.
That's irrelevant right here, right now.
Is there some reason to get something other than Mom?
If we're playing Ballista, that's an option. Helps us against like a bunch of these goblins. It's actually quite good. Dealing with a bunch of like small goblins here and there. Just machine gunning them down. So we haven't lost Ram's camera. Presume we're trying to get that fixed.
Yeah. So we see Mom here. You gotta cast. You cast neither Mom nor Thalia.
Yeah, so
I don't like playing the land there. I think you just cast your Ranger there and then you cast Mom, and then next turn you Armageddon.
Yeah, that's
or not
definitely
cast.
By doing this, you're not at least signaling that you have it. So that's something to be discussed if that's what you want to go for.
But I don't think by not playing your 5th land, you're signaling you have. Like you could easily just not have your 5th land. They don't know you're holding land.
Definitely an option.
Yeah, the thing with Goblin Recruiter that I think Loman did point out is if you do let the Goblin Recruiter then you do let them basically put 6 non-lands on top of their library. Or something like that. And then Armageddon is pretty bad.
Turns out that once you have a bunch of like non-lands in hand, you kind of prefer to have lands in play. Well, they are actually able to play around the port here next turn, so even if they get ported, they're still able to Armageddon here. And I do believe this Core Firewalker gives you the upside here on board, as well as the fact that, as you mentioned, actually having
you also just have a 3/3 on board. Like this 3/3 is massive.
Yeah, like each turn you just swing with your 3/3 and just raise your opponent to death. If they ever attack with Harbinger, you get it for 5 instead. Like this will work.
I also think that there's a very high chance that this Abrade is just going to be held up for Mom, and you don't have to port.
Yeah. So depending on how many cards end up getting revealed here to the Recruiter and put on top, we might just literally see this game just be effectively over, because then suddenly Thunder can't cast anything, and they're just going to be dead to whatever's on board.
They can't cast anything, and they know they won't be drawing a land for X amount of turns, which just is not.
So assuming literally nothing comes down from Brahms.
13 cards.
Oh yeah, this is game over if we see a Armageddon here. If Brahms is just like, yeah, I cast Armageddon here, I kill ya, then this is game over. There's not even a chance. Yeah, sure.
I
You can
don't
break
care what
Ranger
else
Captain.
happens at this point. You're just casting Armageddon. Like, I don't care if you lose your Court Firewalker. Like, somehow you still cast Armageddon here.
Yeah. So it actually turns out, while UnusualThunder might not know it, they really want to operate as Ranger Captain if they want even the slightest chance in hell to win this game. Because then they want to be attacking with the Harbinger and hope their opponent attacks with a Court Firewalker, so they can get in with a Recruiter and just hope your opponent just never has a land. That is pretty much the only chance that you ever win at this point. If we do see it come down here. Goblin Recruiter pretty infamous for taking a couple days to resolve. One of the
Oh no,
cards
the
that
Goblin
alongside-
Recruiter itself resolves fine. It's the trigger that's the problem.
True, but that's part of the card if you ask me.
Helpful comments.
Now, if we could, I would be interested if people, does Goblin Recruiter take more time, or does Sensei's Divining Top?
I was
take
literally
more
about to
time?
mention how Sensei's Divining Top is the kind of card that, like, the thing is, Goblin Recruiter you'll play once in a while, and it'll like take up a while, and then it'll be done. Sensei's Top will keep on taking a good bit of time, turn upon turn upon turn.
Sensei's Divining Top. So let's say Recruiter takes like 3 minutes to 5 minutes to resolve. If you take 15 seconds to resolve your top each time you resolve a top, on a long game, top can take a long time.
Yeah, and that's not even to mention some things like you see top more often. Because people
Like, you can
play
top like 4 times in a turn.
Yeah, like as Loman's pointing out, top also depends on how good a player you are. Like Recruiter, unless you like, if you have any amount of experience with Goblins, you'll have a pretty reasonable idea what to get with Recruiter. Top on our hand is a card that the better player you are and the better you know your deck and your matchup and such, that can make a big difference. Like sometimes you'll sit and look at a like really tough pile, like, oh, do you want this card on top? Or do I want this card on top? How do I play around this?
I have
What if
a
I draw this
question
card?
for you real quick though. So we see the Ravagers. We're gonna see 2 mana get floated from UnusualThunder here. Do
One.
you?
Oh,
This
from
is an
front
interesting.
part.
Do you sacrifice your Rangers captain in response so they can't cast a separate?
No. Because you know what they're braiding? My Rangers captain.
But if you play Mom,
Well, I'm just. Oh yeah, true. I can't float.
like,
True.
would you rather have Rangers captain or Mom? I don't think you do anything. I think you
I
just.
think I'd rather have Rangers captain.
Oh, I think you just play Thalia.
Oh. Land in hand does.
Drawing that land ROMs was quite good. We
Yeah.
see the concession. That's reasonable. You know you're not drawing a land for 13 turns.
Usually you don't get this punished for playing a recruiter. Like usually the worst thing that happens is like you get like some cards and then it turns out those cards weren't nearly as good as you wanted them to be, or like your opponent shuffles one or more of them away or something. Or like you end up regretting how you put the.
What do you have against the sea flow, man?
But that. What is this with this Gabriella Sea Fate?
We will not tolerate that here at the 10th point.
You say that, but Red Mage is perfectly fine with it, clearly.
What's happening?
Back to the game, perhaps. Because I'm talking too much about Gabriel in the Sea. If you're looking at, we can't currently see Bram's hand, by the way, Red Mage, in case you do know.
Okay, casting a turn 1 Judith seems a little.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. Wait, were we playing Goblins? Wait.
Yeah, that card's not a goblin. What the hell?
Wait,
what happened to the Goblins? Where did they come from? Where did they go?
Now, the problem with this hand is because you cast a turn 1 Judith, you have nothing else to do for the rest of this game.
That's fine. I'm going to
Now,
resolve my
all you have
5.
to do
They
is
don't
draw
have anything
like
to do either.
land into Muxus, and then you're good.
Oh yeah, easy Muxus every time. Every time. Never didn't have it. I like Goblin Recruit. Legion Loyalist. Definitely on the list of not the best Goblin in the world, but you know, we'll play it.
Hey, you can cast it because you have 5 mana on turn 3.
Noticeably better when you have Judith in play. That is a 50% increase in power and a nice death rail trigger.
Some would say it's 100% increase in power.
It depends on how you define what you define.
It's 100% increase in power. God.
I definitely wasn't talking about a decrease like a numbskull.
Wait, why are you playing Flagstones? I guess it's fine. I don't know. It doesn't seem good to play Flagstones.
Yeah, that's one of those cards that I'm not saying they're wrong. I just never really understood what it does.
I
I'm not
feel like
gonna
you get
lie.
punished more often than it helped you in a format where you can only play
I guess,
one.
actually, no, we're literally playing freaking Armageddon. What am I talking about? I just felt like an idiot for a moment there. Sorry about that. We didn't have our brain cells activated.
I mean, I know you're playing Armageddon, but still.
I absolutely think it's worth it. Yeah, we just Hammer Legion Loyalist, like, that's fine, I think.
Krenko.
There's an argument for keeping the Loyalists around here due to Krenko. I just don't think it's worth it.
I think that Mana Crypt's a good draw.
Oh, it's
do
my
like
turn
playing
to
Mana
have
Crypt.
busted mana now.
I'm also pretty
A
sure
little bit late,
we're
but
gonna-
okay, sure. Which Gideon is this? Is this Gideon's of the Trials?
Gideon's a trial, correct?
I'm down to play Gideon and to play
Yeah, Gideon and
Wing.
Wins or I think
Something to kill this Krenko. I don't want this Krenko cannot act. Like
Yeah,
you need to
I think I'm a
remove this
bigger
Krenko.
fan of playing. I guess Wins can actually be overloaded here, so that's a pretty good argument for keeping the Wins.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
and I
wins
would-
because wins
I'm
has
kinda like-
additional.
I
Plus
do wanna
on
go
Judith
out-
here. You should be plussing Judith. I like this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do believe it is Judith who pings whenever a creature dies, not the creature itself, correct?
Correct. That's
I
why
am
you
double
plus on.
checking on that. Yes, it is in fact Judith.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we speaking of, in fact, we have. Do we kill the? So we have a couple options here because we're playing the code against command here. I think no matter what, pretty much. Sure, we can crack a clue and see if we want to find something first. But in all likelihood, this is a pretty good point to play here.
So I think you just attack first, they block your Legion Loyalist, and then you deal 2 damage to Gideon and get back with Legion Loyalist and play Legion Loyalist.
How do you deal 2 damage to Gideon?
Judith cannot deal damage right now.
No, with the Colgate command.
Oh.
Wait, can I hit Planeswalkers?
Yeah, it hits anything.
Yeah, it's an
Like,
target,
so-
yeah.
Oh, Goblin War Chief.
That is Goblin
still
Chieftain,
like
I
playing
believe.
Goblin. I kind of just like attacking here, saying if you don't block, I kill your Gideon. If you block, that's a fine trade I'm happy to take.
Well, you
and then-
can't. You're not killing Gideon by not blocking. Judith deals no damage.
No, I agree.
Oh, you mean with Colgan's command? You cast Colgan's command. and
Command,
kill Gideon.
attack with Loyalists, see how they block.
Yeah, I mean,
If they
I think you.
trade, I just want to like probably get. I really want my Krenko back. Not gonna lie. Really good with Chieftain. as well.
Krenko's exile. It's not in graveyard.
Always exile, right? Yeah, derp.
I
Yeah,
think
no,
you play
no,
Goblin Chieftain now because you drew Goblin Chieftain.
Yeah,
And it's
never
like,
mind,
oh,
that's
I
okay.
drew Goblin Chieftain. I'm attacking with Goblin Chieftain.
Laura list. In
This is
Laura's
interesting now. Do you keep your Gideon for another turn by blocking the Goblin Chieftain, or do you block Judith here just as a free block?
I think I want to get rid of Chieftain here.
I think it was, to be fair, it was just a mistake by UnusualThunder to attack with Gideon or with Judith.
Not inherently. But no, I agree. I don't like the attack there. Do we just like clear the board here, or do we get real greedy?
Is Wings of Abandonment is one-sided, right?
It is 2 for 1. Yeah, it is a 2 for 1. I guess.
Like, mana's not their problem. You don't care about giving them 2 more mana.
No. The problem I see with it is that we can get greedier. And god damn, do I want to get greedier.
Okay, but listen to me. We should get greedier.
I already said that, you monster.
No. I was just adding flair.
The second reason why I'm kind of curious about keeping it back is, like, we did the board and then what? Question mark? We have a 2/2 in play? And a 2/1 in hand? Like, that said, that's going to be the case no matter what, admittedly. So that's probably not like an argument in favor of it, but worth thinking about. So let's see here. I'm gonna see. Yep. Slam the Goblin. Give them the traits.
I think what you're gonna do here is you're just gonna unexpectedly absent this Goblin Chieftain,
Yeah.
and then make their attacks terrible.
I don't know why you don't wait for them to attack first and then blow them out.
Because then you have to take 2 from this other Goblin that's attacking with persist.
Yeah, but you. Oh, I guess you stop them from having haste, I suppose. But you get to eat their loyalists then.
Yeah, I mean the question is, but I don't think you care about the loyalist. I think that the loyalist is like.
Yeah, true. Once due to the wins in hand, I guess taking damage is less important. But then I think you should have done that last turn, and that's your game plan.
Oh, UnusualThunder went to make Rob's discard with K command, I think, and then realized that they have hexproof. It's like they have 1 card in hand. Make them. Oh.
And kill your own creature, because you can kill your own chieftain, and then bring back Judith. Look, I'm not saying it's good, because it isn't.
You could destroy an artifact. To be fair, you could just destroy this mana crypt. That is something you could do with this K command. Which probably gonna make Brahms really sad if you destroy his mana crypt.
Yeah, so we go Hell Killer 2/2 here to Polisher, get back Judith.
Yeah.
Ooh, Samurai of the Pale card. That's not one you see every day.
So, based on previous lines of play, I'm imagining we're going to see a 2/2 come down here. So you know there's a Judith in hand. God, do you not want to leave them with a Judith? That said, that mana crypt, as well as your opponent's lines of play, sure are taking clock.
So I do like playing the Prosciutto this turn, because next turn you know they're just going to be playing everything, and then you just get to 4-for-1 them with the swings. Or I guess not, because you unexpectedly absented the Goblin Chieftain so far. That
problem is now there's going to be a Rashadon point that says, haha, funny land.
you don't.
It is 6 mana 2 overload, if I'm not wrong. So UnusualThunder being really stuck on like action here.
We see a Rashadon point now.
Fun fact.
Get rid of Settle. Settle is no longer being held up.
Samurai of the.
You do that before casting Judith. I'm not sure what exactly you play around by doing that.
Settle the wreckage. Is what they're playing.
Yeah. Settle. Yeah, you definitely play around Settle. I'd be a bit surprised to see a Settle here. I won't lie.
Hey, LSV had one.
Look, I'm not gonna blame anything on LSV.
Wait, what the hell is this card you put up?
So I was trying to say that Samurai of the Pale Curtain is my second favorite curtain related card from Kamigawa block.
I'm not even sure why you said curtain first time around.
I don't know, curtain. How do you pronounce that word? Yeah, this is my favorite curtain related card from Kamigawa block.
So, oh, are
It
they
just
gonna
says that creature is blocked. It's like, wait, what?
are
What?
they gonna shuffle their library to find these lands? Now Goblin Chieftain's just gone forever.
Yup. Goodbye, chieftain, my old friend.
Now you attack with everything. Next turn you play your
Weird as it sounds, I actually kind of like shuffling the chieftain away because I think
Oh.
he better.
I don't like shuffling Chieftain away for the reason of I want to force them to hold back a blocker and win a bunch of mana flips.
Was chieftain actually wait? Was chieftain the next draw or the next draw again?
I think it was the next draw.
I think it was next draw again actually. So let's see.
Either
here.
way, like you know that you're drawing a creature in 2 turns with haste that if they forget about, they probably just lose the game. And if they don't forget about, they have to hold back blockers and can't attack you to pressure on you to not lose the game to this mana crypt that is gonna lose them the game.
Yep. 2 turns away from crypt. Being very scary. Yeah, and you're right. Chieftain here would be. Well, you only got 1 turn. It's your chance, so blow. It's opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Lose this flip and go down to 2.
Ba ba bum bum ba ba ba
Yeah,
ba.
Brahms, you need to find a way to kill your mana. This is very important.
Wins the flip. Not nearly as important as this Ava Vial. Pretty late to the party. Not useless.
Gideon is gonna make this go by fairly quick though. You get the plus or you get the 0, make a dude.
Yeah, you want to make a dude for sure here.
Yeah.
So I think you swing it with a samurai here. Do you want to get in with the Aegis even?
I'm getting in. I'm attacking with every physical thing I can attack with every turn. I do understand this is a trick, but if they're blocking my Aegis of the gods
And then
here, they're not blocking my Gideon next turn when it becomes a 5/5.
I might not be the best Magic player, but how does Gideon become a 5/5?
Does it only become a 4/4? I thought this one became a 5/5.
Pretty sure all Gideons ever, except for like Gideon Jura, becomes like 4/4s.
Okay, Marco, important
wait,
question.
it's
Figure out
5/5.
which Gideons
Never
become
mind.
5/5s.
I'm being correct here in chat as well. I just only remember the ones that become 4. Oh, it's
Okay. Thank you, Loman. I feel
plus ones that can become 5/5 or something.
See, you know it's bad when JP takes my side. That's when you know it's bad.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check up.
Trials is a 4/4, right? Like, so it's inconsistent.
Yeah, Trials
Jura's a
is a
6/6.
Oh, Jura's a 6/6. So apparently it's 1 plus the cost plus 1. Apparently is the power and toughness respectively. It seems.
Oh no, because
Blacklight
Battle Forge is
4/4,
also
right?
a 4/4, and that card only costs 1 mana.
That one doesn't count.
It's a Gideon. What do you want from me?
Blacklight is a 4/4.
It's a human soldier. Clearly, it says on the card, human soldier.
This Ranger again is pretty good.
Yeah.
I actually really like getting Ranger and then getting something like Soul Warden if you're playing it.
Sure.
Like,
oh boy.
How are you losing this game if you just like?
You want to know what's also pretty rad here? Samurai just stopping this goblin Arsonist from having a trigger on death. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Aegis just going, even if you had a trigger, you couldn't go face. I'm trying to think, like, what are viable options here? And that is definitely not a pun. Well, it is a pun. It wasn't intended.
Brahms or for Thunder? What are you looking about viable options for? Who's
I mean, specifically for this Ranger Captain here.
If you have something like a Soul Warden in your deck, which I don't know if you have, but if you have something
I'd be
that
highly surprised to see a Soul Warden.
I would be down to gain some life. I think
good
that's
old Souls and Taxes.
Dauntless Bodyguard.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Not the best card. It's pretty reasonable.
I am a fan of sacking this Ranger Captain on upkeep, maybe.
So, question is, assuming so currently the raider cannot attack through for free. So that's 5 with the Gideon. That's 10. I assume they block the Gideon. So that's
So
5.
I don't think you actually have lethal yet. I think what you can do is
Yeah,
you
even 2 creatures is lethal through the. I just don't think. I think many of the instants would just be cast on your turn anyway. Mono Vice versus Mono Red, except it's technically not Mono Red. I believe we have another game up here and going. I believe it's Stumpy versus Blahguy. Am I correct?
That is accurate.
Yep. And we are joining them at a perfect time when they're both getting ready for the next game, it seems. Do we know what the standings are between them?
Do you what did you ask me? Sorry.
Do we know what the what is the score?
Oh no, I haven't asked them yet.
And I also
I
believe it's
will
not Stimpy but
momentarily.
Stompy for reference. There we go. Stimpack 45.
What is Stumpy on anyways? The 4-color nonsense. Yeah, it is.
Oh, Loman is asking for clarification in the Goblins list of there being no drawn use crusade.
You can't currently see my head, but I'm shaking my head at low man. Yeah. Interesting. So if
We see it
looks
very exciting Badlands and Taiga get played so far.
So I wonder if is Blahguy still on Jund, or has he gone back to black and red only? Curiously.
Mm,
Well, the text insinuates it is Jund.
I haven't checked yet, but yeah, there you go. See,
I
green
haven't
cards.
checked what he's playing, but I'm just making assumptions here.
Yeah, I am in fact just being an assumption. My assumptions were right.
Well, now we know. I mean, they might be playing blue. We don't know for sure. Or white.
They're not playing.
This could be Mario Aggro, for all we know. Still good. Though man just subtly using his authority to make people play bad cards. Like, Loma has so much power in this format. Like, he can go like, oh yeah, Rejuvenate is a great card. You should definitely be playing that in your
3 mana as a
D&D
lord.
deck. Trust me. And people will put
This
it
card
in.
is 3 mana
Not
as a
early.
lord with downside of making your goblins black and zombies.
Is that downside then?
Yeah, because then pro
Slightly.
black gets through, like stops you.
It's usually more of a downside than it is an upside. In a Goblin deck.
Overall, I would call this a downside.
Yeah, I would say in the usual Goblins list, it's a downside. You could find an upside. So you could play like, what is the equivalent of like the Unlimited Pure, the black Unlimited Pure? Something Moon, I believe, is black for like enchantment.
Oh,
Gives
Bad Moon.
Bad Moon.
Ooh, apparently there's a cleave.
Yeah, there's a
Maybe
cleave.
cleave is a good magic card. Turns out. Oh, and there's just a bunch of lands. I mean, there's a Felidar retreat as well, but there's just a bunch of lands over there.
Also, fun fact about Badlands, Bad Moon, it's all black creatures. Your opponent's creatures also get.
Yeah, I didn't mean Unlimited Pure. I meant whatever the equivalent, the similar one that was symmetrical, I believe. Wait. For some reason, I thought Bad Moon was black. Either way,
No.
I'm moving this way too far away from this game. I am sorry. Moving back a bit here to the game. Blahguy just a really solid aggro curve here. Did see the 1-drop bolted, but otherwise they've been pretty much allowed to do whatever they want. Stumpy's just been playing lands and passing the turn for the most part. There is a solid little card here in hand from them, but that is a 4-mana card that requires landfall triggers. So that's gonna be a turn or two away. In the meantime, we will see things like Ember Cleave and these 2-drops come down and just start going ham. So I'm curious, is Blahguy's turn? Why am I not seeing? Is he thinking about what 2-drop to play here? Is that it?
Yeah, I think if you play the Asylum Visitor and then you draw a land, you get to play the Earthshaker Kentra
Yeah,
and
exactly.
cast
And
Ember Cleave.
yeah, I mean that's true in either scenario.
There's gonna be some believing pretty soon. Is that what you're telling me?
I think
Yeah.
the main argument to playing the Kenra here is that you actually have an easier time buffing your Pelt Collector to a 3/3. And that you have more damage in the next 2 turns, actually.
Oh, Supreme
I think it
Verdict!
actually turns out to be the same. I think it actually turns out to be the exact same amount of damage to the Pelt
Oh,
Collector.
that was a good draw. Like
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
one
yeah.
that I would have
Really
said gave
freaking good
advantage to Stumpy.
And I don't think you should play the fetch there. You have your Landfall God in hand. Why would you play the fetch? I don't get that. You don't need the mana fixing.
Fuck, I know.
No Verdict! Oh no! No,
Fuck.
Blahguy! No! No! Oh!
Also, next turn, you get to go Valid at the 3, Fetchland, crack Fetchlands. Here's my 2 idiot, good luck.
No, because he played one fetch land like a dum-dum.
Well, you still have another.
Adrena's Crusade is an addition. Wow. Retreat. Sorry, Verdict. They're just coming in clutch. Oh boy.
And now you're gonna get 2 idiots here.
Man, and they could have had another trigger if they just played differently with it. And they even got an island when they had one in hat. Oh wait, no, they got Tiger. But still, they didn't need it. Why? Can't see you can't see the Cosmic Cam currently, but I'm pulling up my hair slowly but surely.
So I think you just attack here.
I'm pretty sure attacking is a valid approach here. It helps you kill your opponent. Yes, you can get double
You
blocked,
also
but if they do
feel
that,
like doesn't this thing pump by giving it +6/+4 or something?
no, +4/+2.
Oh.
It's not. Oh boy, +6/+4. Oh boy, I believe it's 5 damage to a creature with flying. I can't remember the specific amount, or 7 or something. Or it is +4/+2 in trample. That's the one I can remember for sure. How much? It's basically a plummet for all effective purposes. I remember. It might be 7.
The problem with this line of play, I guess. Oh, it gives you trample. Never mind. This is fine. You deal 1 to the cat and then 5 to their face, 4 to their face. Next turn, if
By the
you
way,
draw...
in that scenario, every single time that you're asking me to, I am cracking the fetch, making a sound cat, and blocking with 2 cats.
then you would have just gotten blown out there.
No, you would have still traded.
But
The cat
No.
could do that.
Or I guess
it doesn't have
I guess
first
you
strike.
would have
It only
technically
has 3
traded.
tokens, so 4 power is more than sufficient.
You would still be at 9 now, and their creatures would be dead.
Yeah, the only scenario where you like get screwed is if your opponent gets the first
I mean,
strike.
if they
in which
have
case-
giant growth, you
well
just
done.
get blown out, to be fair, by blocking with
Oh,
2/2/2s.
Yeah, and I
Any
don't care.
+3/+3.
My cats are incredibly expendable. I'll trade
Look,
45 of
look,
them if I need to.
Look, I'm not saying I approve of playing retreat here, but oh no.
Ooh,
This
this
game
is
just
gross.
went from This game quickly, just because of verdict, purely because of verdict, like the top deck verdict.
Oh yeah,
Went from,
like the game
yeah,
was
pretty
over,
good,
then a
Blahguy
verdict.
has this in the back. The opponent's like way too slow, and then the top deck verdict just right on time just went, nope.
So I'm
Blahguy
gonna
doesn't
win
stand
this
a chance
game now.
anymore. Realistically speaking, oh god. JPSS, thank you for the 3-month sub. Rude.
And then he's getting timed out.
That is how we reward our generous contributors.
No, specifically JPSS.
I like that currently cracking that fetch lens puts 7 power onto the battlefield. It's like, what?
I will say though,
Oh.
this Ember Cleave on this Death Toucher is kind of disgusting.
Sure
Oh
is.
yeah, Death Touch is an ability
Pop
that
two,
thing
pop
has.
Death Touch on Ember Cleave is just kind of gross.
Yeah, I might as well add trample while we're at +1/+1 while we're at it, because why not?
By the way, if that thing attacks, I am blocking it with 4 cats.
Are you
And then they
blocking
will
with the
all
fire
die,
as well?
and it's fine.
I will probably only block it with 3. I don't expect it to get +4/+4, just realistically speaking. Sorry, more than +4/+4 or something, or +X/+4. I could see even just blocking with an immense token. Just being like, eh. Making weird
I
sounds.
don't like cleaving before blocks though.
The Filler
Because
Retreat
now
either makes 2/2 tokens or it what? It gives them
puts
+1/+1.
+1/+1 counter on the whole team.
Yeah, and then like some temporary ability. Right? Or am I remembering correctly here? Is it just
Oh,
+1/+1?
I'm also gonna put Lightning Bolt on top of my deck.
I mean, I suppose.
So you need to block the 2/3 Death Touch with 3
Stumpy knew you
creatures
had
to kill
cleave.
it. Which you can.
How did Stumpy know you had cleave? Did I miss something?
What?
Was it revealed to some ability I've forgotten? I don't know. Or maybe they just talked about it. I was like, I have cleave.
Oh my god, this is a massive attack.
Oh, yeah, Blahguy's dead.
I was
Right.
typing in chat and then this happened. What was cast?
A land?
Yeah, lands. Pretty much just
Oh,
land.
the Valadar Retreat. Just
Yeah, the
other
Paladin
part of
Retreat will
Valadar
make your
Retreat.
team absolutely massive relatively quickly.
So do we actually have any games left currently? We have,
Nope.
This was the last game.
This was the
So
last game.
while they get their results in and we get set up for round 4, I will just go over what we have in the way of results here. Bailite, of course, got the bye for this round. We just saw Brahms going 2-0 against UnusualThunder. Hey Kelvin lost to Evios. That was a 2-1 as well. Loading 2-0 against Necro. We did just see, I believe, I can't remember what the Stumpy Blahguy result was. And then we had the Wolfgang 2-0 over Luca being the final result.
Do we have round 4 pairings yet?
I was waiting for them to report, which they have now.
Yeah, so report is in.
And
So we're
pairings
getting
are
pairing,
up.
and we have the following. Let us just see who is in the 3-0 position.
It would be Brahms and someone. Brahms and Necro. Necro doesn't have hand cams. Oh no, sorry, not Brahms.
It is
Necro.
currently Stumpy and
Brahms and
Brahms who are
Luca.
3-0.
Or Stumpy and Brahms, yeah.
I realized there was a smaller way to check the pairings and the results than what I've been doing
Okay,
previously.
I'm just going to complain about pairings on this website for 2 seconds. The first pairing is they go by alphabetical order on the player on the left, not by whoever is highest is first on the list.
Correct. The easiest way to find out who's highest ranked, and it not is just by going up to the standings. That is kind of how you have to do it. But you're right. It is a bit. You definitely get used to it from like most sites doing it by that, or at least showing you what the settings are. Like, fair enough that they don't like immediately sort by it, but at least give us like the option. I suppose you can't really like how do you pair, like if someone's paired down, how do you sort those kind of things? Like can be a bit awkward, I suppose, doing that. Bit clunky. So bronze, Stumpy, we've seen them both. Stumpy we just saw with his 4-color lands control deck, using a bunch of like things like Titania and Retreat there, just to grind out value with some land triggers in the long game, and just otherwise just playing solid cards like Oko, Bold, Path, counter spells.
So
Just a
we
solid-
have someone in chat making a bold claim that I want opinion on. Would Felder Retreat be better if it was a creature?
Oh, no way. It just you play your 4-drop and it gets bolted and dies? No.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're all on the same
biggest issue is
page.
that it's better as a free drop. Most cards are usually better when they're cheaper.
Yeah, that's generally true.
Just play Primordial Mist. I mean, that's not that's not wrong. But isn't that 5 mana as well, though?
I mean,
It is 5
also
mana.
any
But
card
it
with
also
domain
it
gets
also
better when you
gives
add mana
you
to it.
it also gives you the token immediately every time. Whereas you have to have a land drop. You get to double up, but you have to have land drops to make further retreat work.
Oh,
Yeah,
also,
not
what's
enough
that
options
card?
as well.
Urban Evolution, is that what it's called? It's the 5-drop that
Primordial Mist?
finds. No, the 5-drop that finds a card that equal to the amount of mana of different colors you pay.
Oh, Bring to
It's
Light.
plays, I think, Bring to Light, yeah. That card's better if it costs 5 mana than it would be if it costs 4. With that said, we should talk about the
Not
game.
necessarily. It'd be different, sure, but not better.
Yeah, it still finds
Like,
89 with it,
you
right?
easily get a 4 mana card. That's what you're looking for. Like, if you're playing it in a Scapeshift Shell, you'd be happy to have it be 4 mana instead.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, if you're playing it in like in the Mystic deck, yeah, sure, you're happy that it's 5 mana, so you can get your key card. But you're right, it's definitely a card where it's not put like a guarantee better by being cheaper. We just thought it'd probably be just 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, because we definitely don't need to skip. We did just skip the 1-drop here by playing a Mox. Stumpy just countering the get in here.
Yeah,
That
fair
seems
enough.
like a reasonable thing to do. Probably. Well, the question is, do you want to hold up Counterspell again, or do you want to just play Teferi here?
Yeah. So the thing
No,
about
Teferi is just gonna die. I'm
I
holding
think
up.
the problem I have with keeping Counterspell up here is that means I have to play the island, not too bad, and then do nothing else really. Like, sure, I keep up Braid as well, but like I'm not spending my mana efficiently, which I think I kind of want to be doing here and now. I kind of like just playing the tempo Teferi here. Roll back the kitchen things, just save some time here. Is my line of play a preference?
Then your Teferi dies? That's probably fine though.
Do you care about your Teferi though? Like, its static doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Against that and
You
taxes,
can
probably
have
not.
some
You're right.
10 minutes up top. Yeah, sure. Easy.
Rats at instant speed are pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Playing a
I still think you need to make sure you get to the point where you are going long though.
Yeah, we do see.
I have to.
Oh. So this card's a blessing and a curse. That's the controls player's new win con right
not
there.
actually that insane, honestly. Here, not gonna lie.
No.
Pretty good at paying the opposite attacks though. If
it lets you cast both of your. It lets you cast both Kitchen Finks and the other idiot.
No.
Yeah,
yes,
it does.
because you have a green
because the
Mox
Mox is Emerald, yeah.
Oh right.
I look.
Oh, that's deal 3 damage to everything.
Oh.
Bye bye. And yeah, then before you just potent here, because might as well. Like, it's not worth leaving up mana for nothing.
So I have an
Right.
important question at this point.
I
want to.
might have an important answer.
Want to see if maybe y'all are more prepared than me on this. What in the world is going on in the portrait picture?
No.
Can you put it up so we can see it in a higher?
Yeah, I'm putting it up right now.
But that's not the right important though.
I know.
So, in this image, you have a dude.
Yeah, I got that part.
Behind the dude, there's some wall art.
Is that what that is?
Like decorations or wall painting or like something. Would be my guess.
But it feels like it's no. It's in front of him.
They teach like literature analysis and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure you didn't get a good grade.
Like you see that it's in front of him. If you look at the bottom, like it's partly in front of his arm.
No, his foot's like behind his arm.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we just see Brahms just like make a solo co out just here talking about the game for a quick second before we move back to more important discussion. And I guess Stumpy is likely to just keep mana up for like a break counterspell, or if they really want to, just like
they can dig on it.
I mean,
yeah,
the upgrade is definitely happening. Then we're either gonna see the counterspell gets cast if necessary, or we're gonna dig. That's what's happening.
So I'm just want to be completely sure about this interaction. Samurai does exile a or is only if a permanent would be put into a graveyard. Never mind, it's not important. I was gonna ask if it was all.
No, it's just permanent.
What card exiles all creature cards could put in graveyard?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. So if you kill Rest in Peace with say a disenchant, does disenchant go into the graveyard?
Yes.
Rest in Peace will not go in the graveyard, but Disenchant
will. Yeah.
Oh.
This is a rules question that you get learned as an L1. It's just like you need to know this.
What?
It's one of them.
Magic rules. Do they exist?
So the reason that works real quick for explanation is that basically Rest in Peace will see itself go into the graveyard, and so it will still be active. The effect will still be active while Rest in Peace goes into the graveyard. But the last part of resolving the spell, after the spell has been resolved, after you resolve the effect of the spell, then you put it in the graveyard. So at that point, the card Rest in Peace is no longer in play. And so the effect
not a very exciting deck. I think the takes are gonna be Impulse, and then he's loading the collection of 3 lands, Logic Knot, Force of Will, Dark Faden. I'm personally probably taking the Dark. Yeah, he also takes the Dark. But it ain't great. Am I still in the mocks with Dark here? Probably, right? No, I mean, probably not casting the Dark.
I would take the mana crit and try to kill myself. I mean, what?
You probably lead by Impulse. You know, Aura's pretty hot.
Yeah, you want to Impulse and find, like, Sweeper or Answer here of some sort, preferably.
Aura's hot. It's a little less hot because your graveyard went away, but that's gonna fill your graveyard pretty quick.
I mean, but that's not
your time walk. That's gonna give you.
You're not looking to fill up your yard currently. There are other priorities like dying.
To
be fair, we all know the first thing this DAC is doing. Oh wait, never mind. I was gonna say this DAC is taking this Mox Crypt, but then you're just gonna kill yourself.
No, you take the Mox Emerald if you're taking anything.
Yeah.
Mana Emerald and Mox Crypt.
You also have to not die here. That's important. Your opponent does have
Time Walk might be your best not dying pick. But then what do you do? Like with the time that you buy with Time Walk. I like to hint it.
You draw another card. You do have to stop lethal. Like, what's the other card? Does it stop lethal?
It's Aura. Aura will gain you 3 life and stop lethal.
Or Euro? Okay,
Euro's
that's
actually really good here. If it wasn't
Euro's
for certain
good.
samurai.
I would take Euro.
Still
I
fine.
didn't know what I thought you were saying Aura, like AURA.
No. Aura.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a sad Euro here. We kind of have to do it though, because
It's gonna
So-
unset
Fine.
itself pretty quickly.
it's gonna
You have to
exile
play
us.
land.
Oh, right. Pale Curtain. Never mind.
Chris. Bye bye, Euro. We
Yeah.
don't want you around, Euro.
I am less into the taking Euro peak now. I might have taken the time walk then.
Samurai with pale carton. Getting rid of it.
This buys you another turn and gives you an extra. It does the same thing. It's the
problem is
same
that
basic
you're going
effect.
To one currently. No, sorry, you're going to 2 currently, and you know what? Mishra's Factory just happens to attack it with 2. So that means even just sweeping the board now is not.
Drawing like Settle the Wreckage here is pretty sweet.
Yeah, Farrell would be.
Taxing Probe, you can pay mana for this card.
Or
Does
like
have that
if,
option.
if you have like a
I wouldn't
Kozilek's
recommend doing that, but you
return,
can.
like an instant speed wrath of some sort.
Stomping Ground. You could pay 2 mana to life for that. That's also an option. Once again, not a recommendation.
Hey, if you
Or
exhaust
than-
all your options, I'm certainly paying 2 life. Stop.
I mean, yeah, that's the honorable way out. Let's be honest here.
Look, you're gonna plus here. If your plus hits you nothing,
There's an Earl.
like
It's a little. Sorry, there's an Oko. It's a little
Oko is
late.
too late. though. Oko doesn't save you. Not gonna take the honorable
If you
way
could
out.
activate Duck again, you could steal the Mox and turn it into a 3/3.
And if you could activate Oko a second time, you create another food and turn that into a
And if you could just like cast the Supreme Verdict and then like Strip Mine and then Demonic Consultation and then Fast Zero Coracle, you win the game. What?
So look, if you can activate Oko 8 times in a turn, it's pretty good.
In other news.
Bad jokes aside, I'm pointing out that wishing for dream states is not the most interesting result. Like, yeah, you could always be like, what if I was in a situation where I was winning? Well, then you were winning. Congratulations. That's now a different board state.
Well, we do see a
dull hammer
remanded to Euro with this hand, which is pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, remanded to Euro
And the
into
Wrath.
probably Cryptic Command.
There's no wrath.
Yeah, there's a Radiant Flames.
Oh, it was just drawn.
Please, what do you mean just draw? We knew it wasn't up. Regards. I mean, what? We're not cheating. No. Sir, don't over here. No need. So we can make a very powerful play of bouncing the Oren response so that doesn't stay in play. That's definitely a good idea.
Um,
Oh no. I'm curious. Do we play that offensive here? I kind of don't mind.
Well, it doesn't
Then we
matter,
have the-
but...
So it turns out that the different taxes also plays the persist combo. Who knew? Now we just need Crafter Walk here.
except this persist combo means you don't lose, not that you win, which is a very different.
It is different, yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. I'd be surprised if Stumpy could win through infinite life.
Also,
I wouldn't be shocked if Stumpy has some way of recurring his library somehow.
yeah, so that
sure,
your
he
opponent
can
decks.
You just mill.
Cryptic
Cryptic Mystic Sanctuary may
yeah.
technically get you there
Hmm.
through
Yeah,
forcing your opponent to mill.
Even without that, there might just be a Teferi Hero of Dominaria in their deck.
Well, hello there, Terminus. Second sweeper of the game, presenting itself.
Yeah, and as we've seen, these are games where sometimes you do end up needing to.
I'm gonna be honest here. As long as Stumpy finds the land and 2 more here, I'm pretty sure I want to be in Stumpy's position here. Only thing that might not be in Stumpy's favor is Stoneforge Misty getting like Soul of Finite. Fire Knights, if that's something Bronze is playing, which I think it might well be. Even then, that's bounceable with Cryptic and then counterable with a
You get to just resolve Gideon here. And your wraths are pretty bad.
It's actually pretty good against us as well. True.
Like resolving Gideon and then plussing Gideon or making a 0 Gideon to get an emblem makes it harder for you to win. I mean, the control player is probably going to be able to deal with it. But.
Yeah, on the path to winning the game with the Fairy Hero of Dominaria, you probably ultimate it. So that exiles the Gideon and fixes the emblem problem. Granted. So here what's happening, I would probably look to wait for them to play something, Cryptic it, and bounce the Gideon with Cryptic. So you can fix
That
the
seems
Gideon problem.
So I will say yesterday, I ended up playing some Highlander, and I had a game where I Gideoned the child, made an emblem, and then now they have next turn. Then I had 2 Gideons.
Gideon and Infinite Life. How are you gonna kill us now? Aha! They're not
All
done.
right.
No, just have them keep. Oh, Marco's back again.
Hi. So I don't know how much we lost. It wasn't like the power didn't go out. It was just like it trapped. I am trying to get back in. We probably won't be able to watch the end of this game, sadly. Okay. So the stream is back online. Let me go back. Oh, freak's sake. Why do both of your hangouts call crash? Click here to
Both of our hangout calls, our connection has been lost.
Yeah.
Mr. Marco, bring us the stream.
I'm trying, okay? I'm trying.
Okay.
We
I'm
probably
not
won't be
playing
able
that.
to watch the end of that game. Somebody should probably mention to the players that we might need them to
I'll do that real quick.
to start a new match so I can set
I have a very important question, Marco, or a
Yes.
statement. Mute yourself on Hangouts.
Oh.
Oh, hey, the stream's back.
Why can't I hear JP's voice in my ear?
For some reason, JP joined the booth and started talking.
I've been in the booth this entire time. I've just been muted.
Yeah. I don't know
Okay,
what happened.
please go back to being muted.
No, Gosmit's gone. I'm now the next commentator.
I can see Gosmith right now.
Gosmit is currently not in. He's in. Where is Gosmit is in Tournament Voice 6. I'm in the booth, so I'm technically now a commentator.
Oh, he's telling them about the thing. Right. So, for those that are unclear about what's happening right now, because MTGO is a quality program, once you join a tournament lobby, you will only be able to see matches that are started after
Oh yeah, true.
you have joined the lobby, and I had to restart MTGO when my power went out. So until we go to the next match, until these players start their game 3 in a new match, which Gosmith just told them to do so, we will not be able to
match
share
3
gameplay.
because it does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a bit of a spoiler boy here. I believe it was 1-0 to Stumpy, right? And I'm gonna
Okay.
give you a
1-0
hint.
to-
I'm just gonna
Oh,
issue a
Look at
blanket
Stumpy.
statement in chat that if anybody is going to start a new game, they should do so in a new match.
Yeah. I'll see who else. Should I just go in the other group chats? And
Yeah,
stuff?
just let them know.
Aha, Gosmit's gone again.
Please, Gosmith is not real. Oh, everybody knew that.
Gosmit is just a construct of all of our collective imaginations that we all see him but don't actually see him.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's fair. That gets into like cosmic things, and we don't need to go that far.
Oh, are there any fun judge rulings we should discuss now that
Yes.
we have
Oh, we were talking earlier about the animate dead. Do you know what happens when you animate dead? When you stifle an animate dead, enter the battlefield trigger?
Doesn't the enchantment just stay on the battlefield?
So the animate dead will stay onto the battlefield. The funny thing is that if you do it in necromancy, you just basically have an enchantment with no text sitting onto the battlefield, right? If you do it to animate dead, you have an aura enchanting a card in a graveyard that is sitting onto the battlefield. So if at any point like you delve the card away or it gets eaten by an aura or whatever, then at that point the animate dead will die.
And then go to your graveyard.
Yes.
So nonsensical. I hate it.
I mean,
so
the fact that this weird rolling exists is actually a good thing because it means that the rules of Magic are structured in such a way that it can handle this stuff.
That's fair. Yeah.
And if it didn't work in this way, then we'd need special cases for all these things, which would be a problem.
You're
So
not wrong.
Luca match and the Wolfgang EVS match are in game 3, so they're not available. However,
Stumpy and Brahms also looks like they're on game 3 now.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Because I just heard, just looking at the tournament discussion, Stumpy's like, shoot, player draw since you choose.
Wait,
Not
who
gonna lie.
deleted my message?
JP
gonna lie,
Muse,
I was
please.
expecting. I was not expecting Brahms to win that one, but I wasn't looking too carefully, so that might have been.
Well, no, Brahms
my
won
voice just-
game one.
Bleh.
Brahms won game one.
Oh, he won game one. I was thinking of a different match, wasn't I? Yeah, I was. Who was it
Oh,
that
hey,
got destroyed by an
Pyroclasm.
army again?
Blahguy got destroyed by a Supreme Verdict.
Oh, that was Blahguy, right? Yeah. That's what I mixed up. You know, Brahms, Blahguy, potato. Definitely not reductionist.
So
On a scale from Yeehaw,
Euro gets
Steel
cast
Ball.
before Oko.
Oh, I'm just playing the Oko as quickly as I humanly can here. I just want to start
so
being idiots.
either you go Yeehaw, Ravage the War, who can top take the most lands, or you.
Oh yeah,
put
that's
the-
what I'm saying. If there's an Oko on the battlefield, then I'm not going
If we see a land here, I might see the Ravage the War, and I'm not so sure I like the Ravage the War anymore.
Oh, we have
There's
an
a
ancient
question
team. We don't even need a land. This is
of
interesting.
who wins the Gideon Oko battle.
Which is
I
Oko,
want
but
Team
like
Gideon, because Team Gideon has a Mirror Crusader.
Oh, there is no third land.
I'm gonna choose Team Gideon because Team Gideon actually can cast that card.
because it can actually be cast.
I actually don't hate just slamming the Ravage of the War here. Just like, yeah, sure, your
oh
opponent has
yeah,
counter
I
but,
do
like,
like this first
let
to
them
see
do
what
that.
happens.
Let them counter it. Let the people prosper. Or something, I don't know. Turns out that while you don't know it, Mirror Crusader is actually better
Oh,
currently.
they're just playing Mirrored Crusade here, which is actually going to work out in Brahms'
Yeah.
favor because this is going to hit a mana leak, and then
Yeah, because you don't want to really Pyroclasm next turn.
Pyroclasm killed 2/2.
Now,
so
if
bad.
you're in Brahms' seat, if you're Stumpy seat, you're like, oh god, give me a land, oh god. Oh no.
I'm so
think
just
that might just
ravaging
be a
this turn.
reckoning
This
coming
game's
here.
over. You just ravage in this game, man.
If you see a Ravage here, that's just that's
Like your opponent's missed their
technically
land
not
drop for 2
game
turns.
over,
They're playing a
but,
control deck.
it's gonna be a.
I
I mean, that's
mean,
literally gonna be like land removal or land kind of thing we're looking at here.
I'd argue that the
You
game
should have
had
ravages pre-combat though. Before you made Gideon a creature, you should have.
Yeah, I don't think it's so important specifically due to how like.
yeah. To
Stumpy
be
gets
fair,
no
I
white
think that
mana.
this game ended when Stumpy did not peel a third land.
Oh, the swords! Now you just need a white source, and then you have a chance of coming back. That's not even a joke.
No, you do.
I mean,
You do need to peel it pretty fast.
Yep, you have
You have this
literally
turn
one
and
turn.
next. You have
Wait, what did we just
next
discard?
cryptic command that we drew.
I think you should have discarded the wrong basic.
Well,
The
that
wrong
was a fun
basic.
game.
For all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I don't
okay.
think ravaging is greedy. They're stuck on 2 lands, and you know they don't have.
No, Ravaging was not greedy. That was the correct choice.
I think he's
like-
talking about the previous spot.
Huh.
So we do still have
I
2
disagree.
ongoing matches, which are Bailite
No,
versus
it's correct,
Necro
man. Are
and
you talking
Blahguy
about,
versus Luca, but I
not
don't know
immediately
that we
slamming the Ravage,
can.
or like
Their
waiting or
control
coming
deck, they
there?
need a lot of. Their control deck, they need a lot of lands to do things. They need mana, and if they don't have mana to cast their spells, you have a big idiot on play already. Like if you have a Gideon, then you have something and they don't.
So I believe the only game we can actually feature as well, most other games are either nope. Yeah. I think but both the Brahms and Subby matchup we just seen finish, and the Blahguy Luca Ironford match, and due to the way that MTGO works, we sadly cannot feature that actually.
So
with that, we are actually effectively done. We're not technically done because we still have one match going. So I am going to have. If we could get Blahguy and Luca to screen share, that is an option, or at least one of them, and then we set that up. Perhaps that is technically an option.
I'll
It's
see
be
what
awkward.
we can do. It's gonna be a bit. We might be able to do it with, let's say, reduced Quality. Yeah.
That is an option.
I'll work on it. I'll need them to start sharing their hands too. And then I'll see if I can make something work.
Like, so the thing that to address Loman about what they kept, it doesn't matter what they kept in hand. They've been missing their land drops, and they clearly don't have lands. And so, if you Ravages and then you don't activate Gideon, just to be safe that turn, then the only thing in play is going to be Gideon, and that's going to be enough to get you there. Unless they peel like 3 straight lands.
I'm gonna be honest with that. I don't see a situation where I don't cut Ravages. I think they're perfectly fine reasons to cast like Mirror Crusader there. Just be like, yeah, whatever. They might still have a land, but once you're like certain that they're behind on lands, and they've already played Mana League, I'm like, yeah, they have a Mana League or not like a similar Remand or something. Not Remand, I guess, nearly as much. But like, if they have a counterspell, they'll have it for something else. And most everything else in my hand was like there was a removal spell, another removal spell. I think that's about it actually. Really, it was removal in hand if I remember correctly. Wasn't too impressive. In short.
You know what?
There is a chance that
Why don't we just call it a tournament? I don't think I'm gonna be able to show those things sadly. So maybe yeah. That's okay.
Brahms.
So I'm
Brahms
just gonna
wants
go
to
through
talk.
what we do know, however. I'm just gonna go through the standings for tonight's tournament. And that is with 4-0. Brahms. In our 3-1 bracket, 3-1 currently are Stumpy, Evios, Blahguy, and that is it currently, but I'm not sure if... so actually, I think the Nuka matchup has ended, if I'm not wrong. It has, in fact. So that is actually all matches.
I think the thing that I have liked the least is the goal of Brahms that lied to us and told us that his deck was old and bad, and then he was like, no, it's fine, I'm just gonna furrow. Like, come on.
Brahms, feel free to unmute and you can discuss things if you'd like to discuss things.
Oh, hello. I heard people were wanting, like, we're discussing the play pattern of Ravages and when to play it.
That was
and
definitely one
whether
of the
to play it.
Going here in discussion, yeah.
Yeah. So I played the Crusader to eat the inevitable counterspell because typically, having played against Stumpy, they normally have a 1 and a blue counterspell on 2 in most of their keeps, and then I was like, okay, I'll play the Crusader to eat the counter, and then Ravages can resolve the following turn, and then I just beat him with Gideon and win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit risky because, like, if they'd top decked like a Plains, then Gideon would have eaten the Swords to Plowshares, and I'd been
yeah, but Swords even was a top deck as well, actually.
Yeah.
But like,
so that was a double top deck, neither there, or like triple lands quickly in a row.
Sometimes you've just got to like go for it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So where we're at is basically everyone in the booth thinks it was completely correct to Ravages, and then Loman's in chat thinking it was very greedy to Ravages there.
It was a little greedy.
I don't think it was that greedy because
my opponent was already behind on lands. I could have just established more threats and killed them quicker.
I mean, that is something you could have done, but you do know that they have no more lands in hand because they've been missing land drop.
Yeah,
and
what Nolan's pointing out here, just to interrupt you quickly, is that what he's trying to say isn't so much that the play line was sketchy, more that the keep was sketchy, if I'm not incorrect. Essentially.
Yeah, it was a bit of a greedy keep. But then again, my opponent also kept a greedy keep, so it balances out.
Loman's saying that they probably had 1 and 2 mana interaction based on the keep because they kept low land hand. But didn't you play some creatures early that didn't seem to?
I had a Weathered Wayfarer that got abraded.
It seemed like you played some creatures early that probably ate some interaction, and they also just. I think there was a turn where they just didn't do anything. They had 2 lands and then passed. Nothing happened.
So I had a
But I
Weathered
could be
Wayfarer
wrong
that
on
got
that.
abraded, and then Gideon resolved, and then Crusader got countered, and then it was the Ravager's turn.
Yeah, I think the turn where Gideon just resolved, they just never spent their mana, which is something that's like, oh wow, that's.
I think that was the turn where they abraded the Weathered Wayfarer. Or maybe, no, I think they abraded it on their own turn. I can't remember. It's in the VOD. We could go back and watch it if we really cared.
True.
I'm too lazy to do that right now.
But a
But
question here. So you've been on a lot of different lists this season. Like it's pretty typical for you to switch a lot between decks. We've seen you a lot of like green-based decks, like medium green. That's been something you've been on. You chose to play D&T this week. Is there any
Yes.
particular reason? Is it like I just felt like playing it, or it was the meta?
Yeah, I just sort of woke up in a D&T kind of mood.
Absolutely.
Like, I've sort of been not playing it because there's been a lot of green mid-range decks, and it's not the greatest matchup because they just play like Thrums, and then like how do you beat a Thrum? But yeah, I sort of woke up in a Death and Texas sort of mood and thought, heck, I'll run it, see what happens.
It seemed like there wasn't. There was a. I believe there was actually a fair bit of green mid-range decks, but I think it's just a lot of them. Partly, I think you didn't queue up against much in that manner, and I think partly some of them. I think Bailite and Necro has some sort of greenish, some Abzan list. That was
Yeah, Bailite and Necro were on Abzan. Evios,
don't
I'm
remember
guessing,
what-
was on medium green
Yeah,
again.
I didn't actually remember seeing what Evios was on because I don't think we had.
Yeah, we
ever
just
have-
never saw him, but I can check. Yeah, he's on medium green.
Medium green. This is recess. Yeah,
Yeah.
not surprising. They've
So
been
I
at it
just
for
sort of
years.
managed to avoid all the green decks.
I do think with this 4-0 though, Brahms, it brings you up into like the top 5 of the current leaderboard.
It's better than 4 weeks ago when I went 0-4 with Dredge.
Look, we have to try out new things once in a while, right?
Oh, I enjoyed playing with
Pioneering.
Dredge. Dredge is great fun.
Absolutely.
All right.
Do you have any further comments before we end it off here, Brahms? Anything you want to say?
No?
Perfectly valid comment. With that said, before we sign off here for the stream, we have a bunch of things we want to say quickly and in reasonable order. If you're unfamiliar with us, we are the 10th point. We do Canadian Highlander bullshit and tournaments mostly. If
But
you're
also
interested in,
mostly.
and if mostly tournaments, yes. If you're interested in Canadian Highlander, we have a Discord for that. Well, not we, but there is a Discord for that. The Discord link is in the chat or in the description. If you're interested in us and what we do, we have our website where you can find out about us, our rulings, and those kind of things. If you're interested in playing in our events, we have a link to our MTG Melee sign-up page where you can sign in for next week's tournament. That will be Season 8, Week 8 out of 10. So if you want to play some powerful Magic, that is a great time to do so. If you want to help us out, a subscription is a great way to do that, and a Twitch Prime, if you have one of those lying around, is a perfectly great way to get a subscription in to one of your favorite streamers. It is a free subscription. Might as well use it on someone. And yes, we also have a couple of other functions here. Some more useful than others. I do wonder how long it took before someone found the Easter egg command. Don't remember.
Do we have
I
an
can't
Easter
remember
egg
if it was
command?
due to the fact that someone might have gone at help at some point.
Oh yeah, right. It just congratulates you. I forgot about that.
I kind of threw it in chat at some point when stream was off.
Who are we rating today with the 6 that we just
Right.
figured out?
It's actually a few weeks that we don't trade engineering, so let's go to that.
That's good.
I
Does it know
will
that
again
one?
before we log out. and I want to apologize about all of the various issues that we've had today with the approved disconnects. But thanks for watching. It means the world to us. That's why we put this show, so so that people watch them, and it's incredible that people do. I will stop fumbling now, and it's engineering time. So let's go to that as soon as I find the thing I want to do. There you go. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next week. Bye.